voters in America should decide who our president is, not Vladimir Putin.
The Russians offered help. The campaign accepted help. The Russians gave help, and the president made full use of that help. And that is pretty damning.
I believe he knows he's an illegitimate president.
The bottom line of this dossier, the bottom line allegation, the point of this is they colluded, they helped, they were in on it.
What does Vladimir Putin have on President Trump?
And they've also decided who they want to see become president of the United States, too, and it's not me.
Secondly, I found out that Vladimir Putin doesn't want me to be president.
We need to make it very clear, whether it's Russia, China, Iran, or anybody else.
This election, that Russia has been involved, China has been involved to some degree, and now we learn that Iran is involved.
As 17 of our intelligence agencies have confirmed,
17 intelligence agencies said
50 national security officials who served in Republican information in administration have said that Donald is unfit to be the commander-in-chief.
There are 50 former national intelligence folks who said that what he's accusing me of is a Russian plan.
You mean the laptop is now another Russia hoax?
And that's exactly what.
Is this where you're going? This is where he's going.
Well, we know that this whole smear on Joe Biden comes from the Kremlin.
I don't understand why this president is unwilling to take on Putin when he's actually paying bounties to kill American soldiers in Afghanistan.
When Russia puts bounties on the heads of our soldiers in Afghanistan.
That Russia had bounties on the heads.
On the heads of American soldiers.
There are several factors that contributed to the low to moderate confidence in the judgment, including the difficulty of
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to an early edition of Table of Titans here as we're dealing with our golden address as it comes up for President Trump, who's going to speak here in about an hour. That we're going to be hunting down a live stream for you guys to go ahead and check that out. But we're going to see a lot of things about election integrity, maybe a little bit more than that. You know, is it a treasonous event? Who knows? We're going to see what we got there. We definitely know the major news agencies don't want to touch this thing with a 10-foot pole. And all the left-wing guys and Democrats have all lockstep together, and they're basically telling them that all that stuff that Trump's going to tell you is a lie. How come he hasn't basically given up on it and accepted it? Well, we all know the truth. Maybe we could expose the rest of the world to it. We got lots to cover in here as we're going to do a little review of some of the things we need to cover to make sure we have a good election coming up, and this speech that he's going to give you guys. I got Tron and Space Shot with me. Welcome in, guys. Tron, what is going on, sir?
Boom time, baby. Let's go. I love this. A presidential address that was kind of just came out of nowhere. So again, Patriots, this is kind of a big deal, I think. Again, hitting up the 2020 election, foreign interference. And we've been hearing about this for at least 9 years plus, going back to Russia. And I'll tell you what, man, whatever happens is going to set the stage for between now and November. Again, securing our election is number one. We don't have a nation if we don't have secured elections. So shout out to Boss for doing what he's doing tonight. What is he going to address? Well, he's going to hit up the 2020 election. He might hit up some economy news. He might hit up a little what else do we have on there? I believe there's a Iran war news and whatnot. But again, the focus on the elections. So setting the stage for something big. Now, are we going to get the mass arrest come tomorrow? Probably not. But again, setting the stage for something big, Patriots. This is going to be good. So hang tight. It's going to start in a little bit, I think. And I'm looking forward to this, man. Let's go.
It's going to get interesting. Mr. Space Shot, sir.
How is it going on this fine? Yes, how is it going on this fine Thursday out there, my fellow world patriots? I'm very excited to listen to what he's got. And to Tron's point, hey, maybe Tron, maybe during the show they're out there pulling the marshals out on people. But of course, I think this is going to be very tongue in cheek with that, of course. But I think this is going to be helping with the exposure for the normies, because, us here that are presenting, all you guys that are tuning in, we're very well versed on what really happened. But now it's up to us to help guide these folks out there that, really couldn't see the light of day, but we can guide them there. And it's, never going to be, for me anyways, I told you so, ha, ha, ha. It's like, welcome in, glad you're finally with us and you finally see the light of day. What can I help you with? That should be it. But yeah, I'm super psyched to be here. A lot of craziness coming on out here in these last few days. A lot of fun discoveries that we found, a lot of people have found in the last few days as well. And I'm just loving this because it all seems to be coming back into the fold, right? All the Jack Smith stuff, Crossfire Hurricane, the election stuff, the uranium possibly coming back in. We'll see. We'll see how far they're going to go down this road. But we'll see what he's going to say about this evening. I'm very, very interested. Maybe it's a rug pull.
Any guesses?
Right? Well,
Any guesses what we're getting?
Well, I don't.
SAVE Act. It's all about the SAVE Act. I think we're trying to push this SAVE Act, and hopefully it gets to that point. But again, are we going to have JFK Jr. come down on a squirrel suit? Are we going to get EBS alerts on our phone? Is Princess Diana going to start off with the Star Spangled Banner? Who knows, guys? Everything's on the table. Of course, I'm just joking, but I'm excited.
Is Elvis there?
Tupac's going to open up at halftime.
Thank you very much.
Oh, we're getting out of hand here. It's going to get interesting. Let's get into some of the things that, maybe we're going to dance around seeing some of the things that go on, because we seen what they did down in Fulton County out there, which is Atlanta, basically the voting district on that side that Trump got arrested into and all that. So I figured, well, let's go back down that thought process and kind of review a lot of the things that we saw leading up to the election, things at the election, and all that sort of thing. Kind of key highlights for everybody. And I'm gonna start with this lady right here because she seems a lot more accurate than most people thought.
Now, talking about Georgia, you've actually mentioned that some of the counties didn't actually do a hand recount. Now, can you tell me more about this?
Yes, they often ran the same ballots through the same fraudulent creating machines, which did absolutely no good whatsoever. They did not look at each ballot and compare the signatures. If we could even get 100,000 ballots of the last 100,000 ballots run in Georgia, for example, we could show by instant mechanical analysis the difference in the ballots and the ink. We know that there were hundreds of thousands of fraudulent ballots imported into the country, likely from China. We have video of some coming across the border from Mexico. There's other information of ballots being shipped from one state to another. In fact, there was a postal service driver, I think, who was sent from New York to Pennsylvania in the middle of the night with a truckload of ballots that was then used to, quote, backfill, end quote, the vote count. It's absolutely absurd. We have more evidence coming in today of a massive load of ballots, I think, from Arizona to Georgia. So they had these warehouses of counterfeit ballots in different parts of the country, apparently, and then shipped them in the middle of the night as needed to backfill in the states where President Trump's voters poured out in such great number that they broke the algorithm they had pre-programmed in the computers for Dominion to create the fraud. That's why they had to stop counting in 5 states. And that's why it's absolutely absurd to say that there wasn't voter fraud here. We have counterfeit ballots. We have dead people voting by the thousands, if not hundreds of thousands. There were something someone called phantom voters. There were just more manner and means of fraud than any law-abiding American citizen could possibly imagine. It's stunning. It's absolutely stunning. And they were so in our face with it. And then to deny it is purely Machiavellian.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I forgot about that line. Oh, yeah. Comments on this particular operation that we saw come out of this is referencing what was happening in Georgia. And we're going to get into some of those finer points there. But her and the Kraken team, and obviously we all thought that some of the team had the information, some of the other team might have been fed in disinformation to discredit the whole operation itself. Did we get the results out of these audits that we wanted? No, I don't think so. They obfuscated the truth and we were left holding the bag and Mr. Joe Biden got to be president. Comments?
I think it's all timing. I think it's all timing. I mean, everything. I mean, imagine what she went through. Her, Rudy Giuliani, the hell with Jebba Ellis. She was a complete loser. But what they did to her and Giuliani, and remember, they were over the target, so over the target. And look at all these individuals, guys. And I'll tell you right now, retribution. And some of this, man, I'll tell you, because you couldn't do it back then, not another 4-year election. You can't tell the public the truth. You must show them. And now here we finally are with the show aspect. But man, they've ruined so many lives, whether it was just the election or everything else. Once you're over the target, they come after you. Bosses are a perfect example for that. And now this is the time to wrap it up, guys. I mean, we are on the clock. We want 2028 Diamond's return, but we have to focus on right here, right now, and what's best for our country. And right now, we're going to expose it all, guys, and eventually tear down this house of cards, and that's where the justice comes in. That's where the court system comes in, and that's where the RICO grand conspiracy and all that fun stuff. But man, again, I wanted this 4-6 years ago, but again, timing, it'll happen.
I don't think it was ready then.
Correct. It would have been. I think they needed to set the stage, right? Like we've seen that post. It had to be this way. We had to show them how bad the country could get, right, if they were left to their own, devices. But essentially, as far as I see it, Georgia here too is a big deal in this because he made the phone call to Brad. Hey, Brad, I need you to find 10,000, 11,000 votes. Oh, Trump's
we're going to break that down.
Oh yeah. So
I got it.
But with that, with all that type of stuff, right? And then they try to say, "Wait, look, it's Trump. He's trying to get these votes that don't actually exist out of him." But we knew the whole time, right? We've seen them destroying ballots, all sorts of crazy things that they've did. But Georgia was really key as well because in that very picture you had right there, that very same picture you had of the mugshot, if you guys remember too, he was getting indicted left, right, silly, sideways. But then it was that last one indictment down in Georgia when it was like almost the whole America was like, yeah, that's enough. I think that's enough. And then at that indictment, he got a lot of folks from the other side piled onto there. So I'm just loving it. And yeah, she was right. We were right. We've seen the whole thing. And the most frustrating thing about it all is like the idea that certain people on the other side kind of like, whatever. And I say this to my ex-coworker all the time. And I'll even read you a little bit of the text, which is essentially me saying like, the difference between you guys, as much as I don't like Obama and didn't like Biden and Obama, had they done the same thing to Biden and Obama that they did to Trump, I would be reporting it on the same way because it's the office of the presidency, right? They have no respect for the office of the presidency. And so not only that, but we had crazy proof. And what does he come back with? Oh, well, Hulk, Trump brought it to all these different lawsuits and none of them won. Everyone fell on their face. And I was like, well, you do realize not a single one of those was ever presented as far as facts, right? They were all rejected on standing, right? So while we had the evidence in droves, they were all rejected by the judges, which gave the mainstream media and then the other people, the lackeys, to latch onto. Oh, no, see, there was no information. He went to court. He got his day in court. No, he never got his day in court. It was all summarily rejected on standing. And how the president of the United States doesn't have standing to fight against a fraudulent election against him, I'll never guess. But again, it's the idea that it was this whole, I don't even want to say just. It's not even just a all government, hands-in approach to take out President Trump. It was a worldwide deal that they had tentacles all over this world into different countries, that the deep states everywhere were trying to go after him. But yet, he comes out smelling like roses still, and still standing, not arrested, not impeached, still right there. So I'm loving it, and I'm here for it, and I can't wait to see what he's got to say tonight. But my guess is he's going to lay out some pretty good proof, and of course you're going to have people on the other side poo-pooing it. And as you mentioned earlier, none of the major medias are covering, air quotes, main major medias are covering this story. And it's like, you don't even know what he's going to say, and you're already saying you don't want to see it. So that, for me, has got to be like a little, light for some folks. Got to be.
Oh, it's absolutely great out there. Just as a reminder over here on this election case out of Georgia. So really, Johnny lost his law license. Mark Meadows, Mr. Slicky Suit, He got out with the skin of his nose, and they dropped charges against him. Jeff Clark, he lost his law license. We know all Jenna Ellis, she's OnlyFans over there playing for the other team over there. And Eastman also lost his law license, just as a quick reminder of everybody. And we lost 2 seats in Georgia, which I think was Herschel Walker, and what's the other guy's name? Not Cooper. The guy was doing all the release for the FISA stuff, giving the testimony. Tom Cotton, I believe, is the other one, if I said that right. Or is it Doug Collins? I can't remember. One of those two.
Doug is Georgia.
Yeah, Doug is Georgia. Yeah, that was that over there. So wanted to go back over here on this side, back over here before we get too much farther away. Tron, you want to read that for everybody?
Yeah, guys, from Paul Sperry. Again, he's been cued a handful of times. The really big news President Trump plans to announce in Thursday's primetime address, according to an administration source who's read a draft of his speech, includes bombshell evidence China interfered in the 2020 election to help Joe Biden win, including hacking into state voter registration databases and stealing information on tens of thousands of voters, ostensibly to manufacture mail-in ballots for Biden. The evidence, which details alarming vulnerabilities of election infrastructure, is based on 4 sets of declassified documents set for release tomorrow, which were recently unearthed from suppressed FBI, CIA, and ODNI records. According to the well-placed source, the intelligence had been buried in a massive cover-up of Beijing's hacking capabilities and influence operations aimed at supporting Biden. Other vulnerabilities compromising the U.S. election system, according to a draft of the president's speech, include the existence of more than 100,000 non-citizens, including illegal immigrants, on voter rolls. Should be more than that, though. What, 100K?
Yeah, well, I think that's what they're going to prove, and I don't know what group of buckets they're going to get into, if this is going to be localized or nationalized. This is obviously what Paul Sperry's talking about. It might be more or less. We're going to see, but this is kind of the idea that we're getting into of some of the things that we're probably going to be seeing with the election coming up here very shortly. I don't know if they're going to use this to push the Voter Act to help with that, because they're trying to connect that to the NDAA so they can get those things both cleanly passed. They don't want to hold up the NDAA, because that would definitely slow down some of the government things and nobody gets their slush fund money. So this would be one of the things they want to get done. So that's one thing to think about. What else was I going to throw up here? I might be thinking about it, but I also wanted to bring back this article. Remember this one just after there, February 4th? Yeah, 2021, the secret history of the shadow campaign that saved the election. Let's get into it. Space Shot, you want to do a little reading here?
Oh, wait, I don't know what you're talking about. You mean this story in which they basically admitted to stealing the election without coming out and saying exactly we stole the election? That story?
You mean how they fortified it?
Yeah, okay, yeah, fortified it. All right, where are we going? Articles, court thesis, and narrative? Here. Piece opens dramatically. A, quote, weird thing happened right after the November 3rd election. Nothing. Instead of chaos, there was quiet. The author calls this the result of a conspiracy unfolding behind the scenes, an informal alliance between left-wing activists and business titans that curtailed the protest and coordinated the resistance from CEOs. The coalition's goal was not primarily to win for Biden, but to prevent an election so calamitous that no result could be discerned at all. They viewed Trump as the main threat: attacks on mail-in voting, disinformation, pressure on officials, potential refusal to concede. Remember, they were repeating that over and over. The article frames their work as fortifying democracy, not rigging it. It explicitly states they were not rigging the election, they were fortifying it. It uses loaded terms like shadow campaign, cabal of powerful people, and conspiracy, while insisting the efforts were defensive and ultimately successful in saving the system. The piece ends by noting how fragile democracy is and how much effort was required. Ooh. Keep going. Key players. And Hulk, can you drop that time link or whatever for the folks? I want to share that to my good, honorable ex-coworker as well. Thank you, sir. Mike Podhorzer AFL-CIO senior advisor, the architect. He began raising alarms in fall of 2019, circulated memos on threats, and ran weekly multi-hour Zoom meetings starting spring 2020 with progressives, labor resistance groups, Indivisible and Move On, data people, donors, racial justice activists. And I'll also add to that, we've seen many of these videos that are actually out there that Tori says puts out a lot of those old Zoom videos of the all government workers that are against President Trump, essentially. Other notables: Norm Eisen, Vanita Gupta, Amber Reynolds, Dick Gephardt, Zach Wamp, and activists like Art Reyes III, We the People Michigan, groups AFL-CIO U.S. Chamber of Commerce, Surprising Alliance via Joint Election Day Statement, Project Democracy, Voter Participation Center, National Vote at Home Institute, oh God,
oh yeah,
Protect the Results Coalition, and various civil rights, racial justice networks. Wow. It claims some bipartisan...
So it just kind of gives you kind of gives you an idea of the all of NGO government response to make sure that Donald Trump didn't win the election or muddied the results enough that you couldn't go over there and challenge it. And like Spaceshot was saying before, all the election challenges were dropped due to lack of standing, and not one of them actually went and saw any evidence whatsoever. And the only time we ever got close to that is the Pima County, Arizona, when they were doing the audit down there. And we know how all that ended, right? Yep. Nothing. Just saying, they're pretty damn good at it. And of course, Secretary of State's office and the governor now are covering for each other. So we'll keep going on that. I mean, we've got a history on that. I'd seen you guys, one of you guys dropped this, I think. Any of you two, Tron, you want to take this?
Yeah, guys, this is Enoch. Do you believe in coincidences? On June 22nd, at June 22nd, 2020, Boss drops rigged 2020 election. Millions of mail-in ballots will be printed by foreign countries and others. It will be the scandal of our times. And Patriots, that is a prediction months before our election was rigged and stolen. And again, the great predictor drops it. And there it is, guys. In drop 4495. Is that Donald Trump's status? Is this about the virus or the election? Manipulated polls meant to legitimize rigged election results. The election was not rigged. All the polls demonstrated Biden's clear lead across the country. One example of 4 a.m. talking points. What happens if China successfully duplicates clones, select ballots, battleground states? What happens if coordination exists with select states to deliver printing and paper ballot recipes? Secrets to select foreign adversaries, nothing to lose? Logical thinking. And Patriots, what if there were some good guys on China's side that facilitated this with the deep state in order to catch them? And this is why we need that international foreign appeal. We might get that justice before we get it back here in America. But this is huge, man. Again, Boss called it out. He laid it out. And interesting enough, look at the time, dude. The time that Boss drops at is 7:16 a.m. And what's today? July 16th. Surprise.
So as a reminder for everybody out there, when they're talking about moving these ballots and the United States, no, it was UPS. UPS actually got caught transferring the ballots to Philadelphia. Everybody remember that particular story and the testimony from said driver? And remember, that went to court with the Clinton whistleblower group that wanted to find out. They didn't want to know anything about the ballots. The only thing they wanted to find out is who paid to transport the ballots from one location from a printing area to over there in Philadelphia, if I remember, Pennsylvania area. So, yeah, that's an interesting topic to think about. Guess what happened right at the end when they found the answer? Oh, sealed case. Yeah, I haven't heard anything about it since then. Have you? Nope, I haven't either. So we'll see if that comes back around. So that's another thing. The other thing I do want to throw out here is the In-Q-Tel post that you had thrown out from the website itself, which we're going to get to here in a second out there. And I'd also like to point out that the In-Q-Tel group or the company or the whatever you guys want to call it, I can't remember. I'm going to pull the website up before I go there.
Just really quick, it's not In-Q-Tel, it's just Q-Tel. But In-Q-Tel was in the drops, and that was a organization that worked with CIA and others during 2016 election dealing over there. But yeah, it came back.
So I'll show you the webpage first, and then I'll give you the breakdown, what I was looking at over here, because I thought it was pretty damn interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So this is Q Intel, shows their little deal here. Each one of the pictures just a little bit different. You can take out different pieces of the said picture. Mission first, people always at the core of our professions were shaped. The front lines of cyber intelligence, builders of nations, cyber defense programs, elite human threat hunters from both public and private sectors. They've got a whole bunch of mission stuff that they're talking about. It's a pretty cool little website over here. And that's not it. Where is it? It's right here. Mr. Space Shot, would you like to start reading up there at the top for everybody there?
I would love to. And just giving you a heads up, I got the YouTube running here, so if he does happen to pop up, I'll let you know. Q Intel, full ownership and connection summary. Q Intel LLC is privately held cybersecurity threat intelligence company based in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. It is not owned by any government entity, political administration, or public shareholders. Ownership and founded by William Shambura, Pittsburgh native, Woodland Hills grad, CEO, 2007 to 9 after work with the U.S. Postal Inspection Service, self-funded, entirely private, no venture capital, no outside investors, no public ownership. Company states, quote, "We do not take investment funding. Our customers are our customers. Investors are not." Legal entity, give you a number, registered in Pennsylvania. Domain privacy via standard registrar service. Leadership and background, led by professionals from elite military intelligence communities. Oh, hold on. There we go. Leadership and background, led by professionals from elite military intelligence community, law enforcement, and government roles. Operators, not just executives, as it says on the tab. Senior advisor. Ooh, a guy, you guys might know this guy. Admiral Mike Rogers. United States Navy retired, joined 2024, former commander, U.S. Cyber Command, and director of the NSA. Chief Global Ambassador Keith Malarski, former FBI supervisory special agent in cybercrime. Team includes ex-DOD, intelligence community law enforcement, and FFRDC personnel. Stealth by design, low public profile despite critical work. Products and focus, delivers government-grade cyber threat intelligence via platform Blue. That's interesting. Serves large businesses and essential government agencies with data on threat actors, dark web, credentials, vulnerabilities, and more. When intelligence matters, silence is power. Government and administration connections. Holds contracts with U.S. federal partners for national security work, tracking hackers, fentanyl precursors.
He just came on. Boss is on.
Oh, is he?
Oh, really? Give me a link.
I got one right here. I got a YouTuber link here. And here's you go. And ding. There you go. Didn't even pop on my screen yet. Where are you watching, Tron?
It just shows live here at this point, so we'll monitor that one back.
Hold on.
there.
I got it right here. I don't know why it's not on, but here.
Were you watching him on Rumble?
There he is. There he is.
Good evening. Before we begin, I'm proud to report that our country is safer, stronger, and far wealthier than it has ever been before. We are doing great. Less than 2 years ago, we inherited an economic and social disaster. After the worst inflation in 48 years, the wide open borders with millions and millions of people pouring in from all over the world, including criminals of all types, and 11,888 murders, many of whom killed more than one person. We had transgender for everybody, men and women sports, crime ravaging our cities, and the whole world was laughing at us as a nation, but not anymore. 2 years ago, our country was dead. Now we are the hottest country anywhere in the world. America is respected like we have never been respected before. We have more money being invested in the United States than at any time in the history of our country. More Americans are working today than ever before. This week it was announced that inflation saw the largest monthly decline in more than 6 years. Just happened. It was just given out. The media reported it, and we accept it the best in 6 years. The tax cuts in our great, big, beautiful bill are saving hardworking families thousands and thousands of dollars, like with the provisions, no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, and no tax on Social Security for our great seniors, along with the interest deduction on a loan used to purchase a car, but only if that car is made in America, and a 100% expensing for our job-creating businesses. Our stock markets are at their highest point in many years, but we can actually say of all time. And your 401ks, pensions, and retirement accounts are setting records every single day, the highest in history. For years, we paid the highest price for prescription drugs anywhere in the world. Now we pay the lowest price under my most favored nations policy, because I was able to get the rest of the world and the pharmaceutical companies to act responsibly. Drug prices are coming down by 70, 80, and 90%. TrumpRx.gov, this will ultimately reduce the cost of health care. You have to go to TrumpRx.gov and take advantage of it. But the cost of health care is coming way down because of what we've done with prescription drugs. And with Trump accounts, every child in America now has access to a tax-free investment account to save for their future. Billions and billions of dollars are being invested, put in by companies and individuals to take care of our children so that at age 18, they will have potentially hundreds of thousands of dollars in their account, and they'll get off to a great start in life. So for that, go to TrumpAccounts.gov and sign up your child or any child who'd like to sign up. Our previously wide open borders have been transformed into the most secure borders in the history of our country, with 0 illegal aliens being admitted to the United States in the past 14 months. That is 0. Nobody thought it was possible. We had the worst border in the history of our country, and now we have the best. Crime is plummeting nationwide, with the murder rate at its lowest level since 1900, or more than 125 years ago. We're making a record investment in our armed forces, and we have the strongest and most powerful military by far anywhere in the world. I built it during my first term, and unfortunately, we're forced to use it now. We won in Venezuela, which is now working with us to produce millions and millions of barrels of oil. We are likewise winning big in Iran, and you will see the fruits of that labor very, very shortly. America is back and doing really well, but we still have a major challenge that must be urgently addressed, because no country can be great without fair and honest elections. You have to trust your country, because if there can be no trust, there can be no greatness. And that's very simple. No trust, no greatness. For many years, I've called for bold, swift, and decisive action to protect the integrity of America's elections. Every American deserves to know that when they cast their vote, that vote will be counted accurately in a system, and that is to make that system secure. One where cheating and interference are not just difficult, but virtually impossible. Unfortunately, the system we have today falls catastrophically short of that standard. Tonight, I'm announcing the immediate declassification and release of critical intelligence revealing shocking vulnerabilities in our election infrastructure. This evidence shows that the election system we have dangerously exposes, and really exposes like levels never thought possible, to hacking, exploitation, and foreign interference. Just as disturbingly, this vital information has for many years been covered up and hidden from you, the American people, our beautiful, our great American people. But that all changes right now. The documents we will release starting tonight have been gathered by the White House government Transparency Task Force, a great group of people, along with the staff of the President's Intelligence Advisory Board, supported by our top intelligence agency chiefs, who have all personally reviewed the findings we are presenting this evening and fully confirmed their authenticity. You can see these documents for yourself at whitehouse.gov. That's whitehouse.gov. Go check it out. Our purpose in disclosing this information is not to weaken confidence in election, but to earn that confidence by confronting vulnerabilities and correcting them very, very quickly. And that's what we're doing. The documents cover 5 major areas of concern. First, they show that over a period of years, starting during the 2020 election cycle, the People's Republic of China carried out what is believed to be the largest compromise of election data in history, resulting in China's illicit acquisition of 220 million U.S. voter files. That information includes names, addresses, phone numbers, political party preferences, and other sensitive data that would be needed to register to vote and engage in other nefarious activities, which is exactly what was happening. This data loss presents an unprecedented election security nightmare. The intelligence even shows that China has signed a data exploitation unit specifically to this new project. Compounding the travesty, the second set of documents we are releasing reveals that members of the deep state, very, very famous group of people, in many cases, in our intelligence agency work to actively suppress and downplay information about the extent of China's sinister election meddling, covering it up from both the president and the American people like nobody thought was possible. U.S. spy agencies began learning about the compromise of voter registration files in 2020 when they discovered that tens of millions of voter data, think of that, tens of millions of voters' data in 18 states have been bought, stolen, or hacked by China. Yet those responsible for sounding the alarm instead kept the information secret and hidden. They did not disclose to me as president or to anyone else, and to the best of our knowledge, they did not inform Congress. In fact, all they kept saying is, this is the most secure election in the history of our country. A standard, very pat line that was divvied out to say. The cover-up of this colossal security breach is even more disturbing in light of the additional information showing that China engaged in other election-related activities to undermine my first administration and our 2020 campaign. China. They did not want, and they just didn't want it. They fought like hell not to have it, Donald Trump, to win, and for good reason. As the documents we are releasing show, CIA reporting explicitly stated, and I quote, in mid-2018, the Chinese Communist Party's policy was to leverage all domestic and foreign elements that were opposed to the U.S. president in an effort to reduce the U.S. president's votes and make him resign or prevent his re-election. Isn't that nice? Also, in mid-2018, China was working to influence the results of the U.S. midterm elections and later the results of the 2020 presidential election itself. Separately, in mid-2019, the Chinese government's strategy against the United States was focused on undermining domestic confidence in the U.S. president. They wanted to just make you sound like your president wasn't so hot, when actually your president has done a great job, and they did everything possible to do exactly that. Going on, this document says, and this is by the CIA, the strategy included efforts to use Chinese contacts with big U.S. companies to influence U.S. business leaders to turn against the President of the United States of America. The Chinese government sought to identify U.S. journalists who had reported negatively on the U.S. president and pay them large sums of money to write more negative articles about him, as many as they could, and they didn't care what they said. The Chinese government wanted U.S. president to lose the next election, and the reason they wanted me to lose is because they knew I was wise to them, charged them billions and billions of dollars worth of tariffs, and built the strongest military anywhere in the world. We have the strongest military anywhere in the world. These are exact quotes from the CIA reporting. The name of the person doing the quote is now under review, but it gets even worse. Raw intelligence obtained by the FBI in 2020, yet buried by rogue bureaucrats, stated that China's activities even included an attempt to manufacture illegal ballots for Joe Biden. Documents show that during this period, dozens of significant CIA and NSA reports about China's election targeting were kept out of the presidential briefing. These were briefings I would get almost every day. Everything was kept out that was of importance. One email among intelligence analysts admitted that they had, quote, deliberately massaged the presidential daily briefing to withhold information regarding Chinese activities related to the election. Another official inside the FBI wrote that she was running, quote, a shadow government, unquote, to keep intelligence about China's election meddling from becoming known and to keep it away from the honorable press. Other officials who witnessed such efforts perceived the motivations to be blatantly political. Recently, we found significant numbers of burn bags in formation, and this is a group of bags that were used to destroy information given by President Barack Hussein Obama to be burned. It was supposed to be burned. These bags were supposed to be at a different level by different people, incinerated and checked, but it never happened. Maybe we got lucky. We believe this was not done on purpose, but rather through gross incompetence of the people that was supposed to burn the bags. But the findings are stunning. Today, I'm asking the Office of the Director of National Intelligence, the Department of Justice, the FBI, and the CIA to investigate how and why such crucial information was hidden, to fire those involved in the cover-up, and to file criminal charges, if appropriate, against these people. Yet concealing China's meddling was only the beginning. The third set of documents we are releasing proves that for many years, Americans were blatantly lied to about the security of our election infrastructure, including electronic voting machines and ballot counting systems. Dishonest, almost all. They're vulnerable and they're easily compromised, and people within our government knew that. Tonight, we're publishing a series of previously classified U.S. intelligence community assessments and other reports proving that our government has long known these machines are extremely exposed to attack. As one assessment states, we judged that the United States adversaries, including at a minimum Russia, China, Iran, North Korea, as well as non-state groups, have the capability to compromise U.S. election infrastructure. That's unquote, but that's some statement, isn't it, made by supposedly great patriots of our country. The document goes on to further state that, quote, we assess that centralized election-related data repositories, such as voter registration databases, poll books, and other official election websites, are most vulnerable to exploitation, and adversaries could use this access to these systems to disrupt election processes within the United States of America. Tonight, we're releasing all of those findings, and spanning from January 2020 to June 2026, this is a cyber threat aimed at the very heart of our democracy. Many people have questioned whether it could actually be possible to electronically manipulate vote totals or change election results on these terrible machines. Today, we are releasing documents that show the CIA obtained reporting of a specific plot to do a big number in favor of the corrupt Maduro regime in Venezuela. And that's exactly what happened, conspiring to digitally rig their own country's elections in 2020, and that's what they did. This reporting included precise details about methods to regime develop to digitally alter vote totals in ways that could not be detected even with an audit, no matter how deep they went. This intelligence underscores why we must take urgent action to ensure that our own system can never, ever be hacked or compromised like it was in the past. The fourth set of documents reveals that even when significant evidence of fraud has been detected, it has been buried and covered up. Among the disclosures tonight are FBI files detailing evidence of alleged fraud by a large-scale voter registration operation in Michigan. In 2020, Michigan State Police raided a Democrat Get Out the Vote organization, corrupt group in Muskegon. And we're so concerned by what they found. They were just so concerned, they couldn't believe it, actually, that they contacted the FBI in Detroit. The documents state that some canvassers admitted to FBI agents that they signed voter registration forms in other people's names, submitted fraudulent registration for people who did not exist, and received gift cards tied to their number of applications that they produced. In other words, it was pay, play, and cheat. The FBI agents working on the case believe that crimes were committed, yet the Biden Department of Justice slow-walked the investigation and killed it. Tonight, I'm asking the FBI director to ensure that the matter is fully investigated and to work with the Department of Justice to prosecute those responsible for any crimes. Finally, to reveal just how vulnerable our elections continue to be, we are releasing the results of a stunning investigation by the Department of Homeland Security. According to the DHS review of state voter rolls and public records, they identified approximately 278,000 non-citizens who are registered to vote in federal elections. Since Democrat states refuse to share their voter files, the real number is actually much higher than that. Yet, even this limited analysis found more than 250,000 foreigners illegally registered to vote. Put together, these disclosures reveal an election system so broken and so vulnerable that no one can possibly defend it. It is not defensible. Hundreds of millions of U.S. voter files are in the hands of foreign governments. Our machines and ballot counting systems are exposed to hacking and manipulation and corruption. China and other countries have been trying to meddle in our elections. Evidence of fraud has been buried. Hundreds of thousands of non-citizens and dead people are listed and active on the voter rolls, and yet we still have elections with no voter ID, no proof of citizenship, and tens of millions of ballots floating aimlessly through the mail. As one example of the insanity, California's recent election for mayor of LA and governor was held on June 2nd, long time ago, but it was just completed a few days ago on July 10th. Think of that, much more than 1 month. Took a month to count the votes. I wonder what they were doing. This is worse than any third world country. There's no third world country that has elections like we have. In a rare move, NBC and ABC Fake News have both said that they would not cover this speech. They knew what it was about because of the fact that they don't like the topic, because they know how corrupt our system is and they don't want to reveal it. They and others in the media are part of a plot. They want to continue this fraud for whatever reason. They want to keep it going. They want to protect the radical left. They can't have a great country, and that's true. You can't have a great country without free and fair elections. Fraud like this should mean a revocation of their licenses, They use our public multi-billion-dollar in value airways for absolutely no money. They pay nothing. All we want is honesty in our elections and honesty in reporting. They pay nothing for multi-billion-dollar assets. Great damage has been done to our country. Our elections were left vulnerable to being rigged and stolen, and the trust of the American people was lost. This cannot be allowed to continue. Every American, whether you're a Republican, Democrat, Independent, or otherwise, should be able to agree that we deserve the most secure, honest, and fair election system anywhere in the world. Secure elections should be a partisan, we should be together, Democrats, Republicans, Independents, everybody. And it should not be a partisan issue. It should cause to unite us, not to divide us. This should be a cause. We should be united, not divided. In light of the brand new and irrefutable information I have revealed tonight, my administration is in the process of notifying the states whose election data was compromised by the People's Republic of China and many others. We will be working closely to mitigate any harm, and we're taking swift action to ensure that sensitive voter data is better protected so we can never be bought, we can never be hacked, and we can never watch a stolen election again. Tomorrow, the Secretary of Homeland Security will hold a briefing to outline his department's recent work confirming cyber vulnerabilities in our electronic voting systems. They are bad. We're in the process of informing governors, senators, and members of Congress of potential issues in their states. If you look at voting today, it's in such bad shape in so many states, and we are committing to fix it. And we're also committing to be working with those states and local jurisdictions to help them fix and patch known technical vulnerabilities before the midterm elections. We have very important elections coming up. We want those elections to be honest. I've also ordered DHS to notify every state about non-citizens on their voter rolls and direct them to remove all ineligible voters from the lists immediately. But most importantly, addressing this crisis of election security demands that Congress must pass the Save America Act. How easy is that to do unless you want to cheat? The only reason you wouldn't do it is you want to cheat because your policies are so bad and your candidates are so pathetic that you can't get away or can't get elected any other way. This landmark bill requires that all voters must show photo voter ID. How simple is that? Could I have your photo, please? Photo voter ID. All voters must provide proof of citizenship. Are you a citizen of our country, please? And hopefully there will be no corrupt mail-in ballots, which if you watched California and so many other places, mail-in ballots are inherently corrupt. So you would have no mail-in ballots except for illness, disability, military deployment, or travel if you're going away on business or vacation. These reforms are urgently needed to stop the vulnerabilities that I've mentioned. To all Americans, I ask you to pick up your phone tomorrow, call your representatives in the House and Senate, and demand that they pass the Save America Act without delay. Together we will restore faith and confidence in our country, and we will be bigger, better, and stronger than ever before. Thank you. God bless you. God bless our great military, and God bless America. Thank you very much.
All right, folks. Well, there's the end of that thing. First impression is Mr. Director Ray, Mr. Rays of Light. When did you know, and when did you know it? Right? That's the whole thing I'm thinking about, because they talk about that cover-up coming and that they didn't go and report it. So is Christopher Wray the evil person we all think he is?
I cannot confirm or deny, as we have an ongoing investigation ongoing. And remember, that was the whole thing. Every time he would come, and our doc would say the same thing, like, he can't say anything because he's under investigation. You know, they're doing the investigation thing, and therefore we would never get an answer, yes or no, out of him. And so for years it was like, all right, is this dude good? Is he bad? But it looks like he's not doing anything good for us. And so at the end of the day, was he? Or did somebody go in there, you know, military-wise before and clean out the whole thing? Or is it somebody in the FBI, like a Ray, that was maybe, and I'm just putting out a scenario, I don't know, was maybe forced to do things because we were told early on in the drops, not everybody is evil. Some people were forced into this under threats and blah, 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 blah. So some of these people were coerced, and then other people were just loving the money that they were making and then the power that they were wielding. So it's going to get toasty out here. I cannot wait. And yeah, hopefully some people will wake up.
Yeah, you mentioned Ray and whatnot. And again, Rays of Light, the sleeper, and even Boss Tonight mentioned the burn bags and how they, you know, forgot to. Did they forget, or was it incompetence? Like, he's kind of telling us, like, tongue in cheek, that little orchestration happening here. And then he throws out China, Russia, Iran, and other countries meddling in our election. And that goes right back to drop one of our favorites, 140. What if China, Russia, and others are coordinating with POTUS to eliminate New World Order? So for us to have this information, I mean, did we just catch them? Like, boom, we got you. Or again, is this a coordinated plan? I mean, dude, that was a great speech. It was definitely setting the stage for either a national emergency of some kind. This is an act of war. This is why we needed this international mix. This foreign meddling is to roll with this National Emergency War Times Act, dude. All those EOs, all that fun stuff. Oh, man, we're going to have a lot of fun between now and November. That was a little appetizer, a little teaser. He has the link to the website.
I don't see anything on it yet.
Nothing on it on that one. Okay.
I dropped you the link.
You said the White House.
Said tomorrow.
I dropped you the link.
The election integrity link, right?
Yeah, it's /election-integrity. And then you have to click on the
there's
different
no
three
actual
different boxes.
files D-class.
Yeah, I didn't see anything.
But it looks like tomorrow. He said Friday, maybe.
Hold on. Hold on. All right, let me get mine off my screen. All right, show me Hulk. Go
right
to
here. They are.
Yeah, there you go.
Right here at the bottom.
And that's going to download
files.
a zippy.
Wow, dude.
Yep.
That is crazy. They just don't let you. That's pretty quick. It's too bad we don't have like a searchable database like the Epstein deal that we had before.
Summary.
That would have been kind of nicer. And you know what people are going to do now? They're going to take these files, upload it into something. Yeah.
Let me see. You got yours up yet, Hulk? I got
to unzip them.
Unzip them pants. Unzip them pants, boy. Get them unzipped. Yeah, it is showing a pretty cool little deal here. Homeland Security preventing alien voting. Department of Homeland Security has initiated multiple investigations related to allegations of non-citizen voting and registration. Review of the first set of public voter files from states have not utilized the SAFE system revealed. Over 250,000 non-citizens are illegally registered to vote in just 4 states for which public data files have been reviewed. Four states.
The one I can't open, and it says CIA note Venezuela machines Intel memo June 29, 2026 D-class redacted is the name is too long to open for some strange reason as I go through some of these things here. Look, they're still redacted in here, as you can see. Plenty of redactions in some of these.
Knowledge of a campaign.
This is the election report out of CISA from 2019 to 2014, which would have been Chris Krebs.
Krebs and the other one. There's one other guy, too. Oh.
This all comes back to like the SolarWinds hack where they came in and they hacked the back end of a lot of the American infrastructure, does updates for like the large corporate 500 companies. So they don't have one IT guy that goes, I'm going to go update the Windows machines. No, they basically hook it up to a cloud thing and they can update basically everything in their company with firmware, drivers, Windows updates, whatever they want. Well, China went and hacked that through the back end, got in there, and this is how they were going through and hacking all the Windows machines in there because they were already in the back end. So things to think about that were going there.
Oh, damn. Dude, there's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 files inside the first one. Was that the one that you couldn't open? The vulnerabilities in electronic voting?
I can't open the first one for the Venezuela or everybody's favorite topic, whatever. It says the description is too long.
Description.
Can't open that one either.
Weird, huh?
Yeah.
Show folks what
Destination path is too long. Rename the compressed zip file and try again. Okay, well, let's fucking try that.
So you have to physically rename it for them to extract it? Well, that is odd.
Well, did I do it here?
They made the file, but then you can't extract. It's like, huh? Do you need a password? No.
I can't rename it.
Open,
can't rename
open
it.
copy,
Is it
delete
protected?
properties, share. You do anything under properties? No. Read only, attributes, read only, hidden, and system are all blacked out, so you couldn't even mess with those. What is it saying? Destination path is too long. Rename the compressed zipped folder and try again. All right, so rename the outside file folder maybe, because that's a big one. Also can't. Right click.
Did I get this to
explore?
File mat is not supported. How about if I just grab one of these? Can you take this?
That's weird.
Oh, snap. Just broke Gork. Gork's like,
no, thank you.
Let me try that one more time. See if I can give it to Gork. Yeah, it just said F you.
Oh, yeah. Tomorrow, Secretary Mullins of DHS will hold a briefing to outline his department's recent work confirming cyber vulnerabilities in our electronic voting system. So Mullins holding a briefing tomorrow.
Okay, that's another thing, because I don't know if everybody heard what Mullen had done. I mean, either we can go on with show stuff or play with these things going on, but Mullen sent out a internal memo to DHS that you were no longer to pull over cars. And about 2 hours later, Trump came out and overrode him. So Mark Wayne Mullen did come out and post that.
You mean the ICE stuff, right?
Yes. They couldn't pull him over. And then he came back out. Trump came out and overruled him and said, no, you can do this. It is okay. And it did come out. You go find the emails where Mark Wayne Mullen did send it out. So, again, I don't know where to put it. I'm playing deep state games. I don't know if it's actually him that wrote it or some underling wrote it and sent it out. I don't know. But Trump's like, nope. I tell you that right off the bat.
Interesting. Yeah, I did hear about it for sure. And so, yeah, it is definitely covered. The vote state voter rolls. Citizens, non-citizens on state voter. Dude, did you hear what I read earlier, though? 4 states in which they could check out the information. 200 right there on the very top. Over 250,000 non-citizens are illegally registered to vote in just the 4 states for which public data files have been reviewed.
Wow.
Like 4 states, 250,000. That is wild.
DHS, it enabled those states to identify over 400,000 deceased registrants and over 28,000 non-citizens. Oh yeah, you got like 400,000 dead people on your voter rolls, guys.
And dude, while President Trump was talking, because I'm sitting there and I'm trying to look at it through the lens of like a normie or even a Trump hater, right? And I'm like, I mean, they might even need to come out and like lay out the plan, right, to people to say like, listen, we had to start this thing this many years ago because this is how bad it was. Because literally, as I texted, you know, Manny, we play from time to time video games, or we used to play with video games with him. What a snooze fest. My goodness, all he does is whine. And I said, yeah, I know, poor him. Had the whole world against him. What a crybaby. I said, answer that. Why so insistent on using machines for voting and all the mail-in ballots for weeks on end? Like, why do you guys need to have this? You don't see the issue that we spend hundreds of millions of dollars, and while we used to get our election results the day of, now we wait weeks, and people are saying that they're fraudulent. Whether you agree with it or not, we're still spending hundreds of millions of dollars, probably billions, and then also not getting the result of the election for weeks on end. So how does that make sense for anything, unless you're trying to cover up some fraud? And they don't have anything. They just they refuse to see it. So 4 to 6% loss forever. I'm telling you, I think that's like more like 10-12% would be my guess.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be hard. There's still people that are locked in there, and unfortunately, some of the millennials got sucked up into that thought process, and They think it's actually totally normal. That's why those kids, they're not having kids. And, like when me and Space Shot were of the age, we're all about the girls. But here at this point, it's like the total opposite at this point.
Icky.
So what else do we got to talk about? He had mentioned California. It took them 30 days that they certified their results on the 10th of this particular month. So that's less than a week ago. So let's see if Bill Asaley gets off his ass and figures out what he's going to do with that particular information, because he had said that he's waiting for the certified results to see what's going to happen in California, especially the Bass with the mayor down there in LA County. Let's see if that gets thrown over. Because if you think about it, does anybody remember the other girl's name? That one with Karen Bass? Anybody remember her name?
Like Ramtha, something like that.
Brown. Yeah, she was dark. She was like, Usha.
Yeah. I'm just saying she disappeared after she won this supposed election against the incumbent Democrat. So when they got what's his name Pratt out. So I don't know if this is still going to turn around or not, but I just find that extremely interesting. As soon as you won, you disappeared. We don't hear from you again. And you should be campaigning at least, right? News bites, all those sort of things. Rah, rah, rah.
What if this leads to a scenario where if, Boss, kind of mentioned pass that SAVE Act, and he said it with, very stern vocals and whatnot, and he had a little raspy voice, but if they're not going to pass it, does that kind of make them enemy combatants? I mean, Boss is kind of setting up these dominoes. Oh man, like they're literally like Boss is drawing the picture that you're criminals and you keep on doing it. You're not national emergencies coming. I mean, we have EOs coming up, executive orders, but yeah, I mean, if you don't pass it, I mean, you're either with us or against us, right? I don't know.
Well, that comes back to Thune and the rest of the group out there, because everybody's chasing Thune around going, hey, you're not voting for the SAVE Act because you got $700,000 from different illegal alien groups to help facilitate them staying inside the United States. And of course, he's never going to answer any one of those particular questions itself. But he seems to be the sticking point here of it. That's when Trump's is saying, at least go with the talking filibuster, or just get rid of the filibuster already, and we'll try to push through as much as we can. But that is a ticking time bomb for the next president that takes office, and it being the other party can go pretty bad pretty quickly if we get rid of the filibuster rule. I like the talking filibuster. It would work. Go ahead.
And we haven't even gotten to the point yet where, potential text messages or emails, like if they concocted this election theft, which we all know they did, there has to be paperwork. And this is where they were faulty and incompetent with the burn bags. But imagine, there's a lot more coming. This is just a little taste. And the fact that it was a presidential address and a lot of major, quote unquote news networks didn't cover it. Enemy of the people. This is going to be good.
Absolutely. And some good comments in the chat too. Let me see, who was this? I want to give you credit for that. It was basically that they're gonna, right? A Twisted Clown says they'll expose themselves for voting against. Definitely have some very good comments in the chat. Q Essence 75 moves and counter moves. It's their move, I think. So now's the time to really clobber them with more devastating moves. He has more. Ooh, interesting.
Well, we haven't seen results of what was going to happen down in Georgia, whether they're going to do anything in Fulton County and the rest of those guys. And the last we let off down there is they wanted to subpoena home addresses, phone numbers, contact information for everybody who went inside the voting sector. The judge has overruled them there at that point, and then we're waiting for them to come back around. It's always going to go like that. They're always going to, nope, you can't have it, election integrity, private information, blah, 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 all those sort of things. So we're still fighting with that over there. So that's still got a long ways to go if they're ever going to get there. And I think the midterms are coming up. On the rest of the election stuff, I guess we could just kind of keep going as some of the things that I was getting into. Let's not step a little bit too far away from this particular thought process here with the Admiral Rogers here, because we do know that Geneva down in Southern District of Florida is working with the Geneva, a bunch of the team, QN is. Oh, and the other thing is, what's his name? The protected people that were from Q.
Solomon.
And Solomon was the other guy that was on this D-class trip that went through all this information for 4 weeks and see what they were actually going to release and what was going to get out, just as a heads up, because he did make an announcement that this is his direct relation to this election integrity thing that Trump was doing, and still more to come, more than what's going to be out as of today and tomorrow, because there's still more coming. This is not all of it, is what, to my understanding. But back into that Southern District, we know that they're going after Brendan Clapper and the rest of the guys, and it's no longer a large RICO case. She has been shrunk down to smaller cases and are staying around outside of the statutes of limitation with certain charges, so they don't have any problems with that, which is all good things down there. And we know Admiral Rogers is a witness down there and under one of the Jennifer cases. We know there's multiple, but we only got confirmation on 2 so far. So that's good that he's making this back around. And then he's over here joining a cybersecurity group in 2024 after Trump basically took office and is now giving evidence.
Dude, that's going to be huge. I mean, if you think about what are they going to ask him? I mean, he's already came out and he already ratted them out essentially by, as we've talked about a few times, going to meet President Trump and telling him to set up a skiff and telling him that they're essentially spying on him, right? So he was like apparently the only one that openly went out there and, you know, went against what they were doing. Like the only one patriot that, you know, obviously there were others like Nunez and whatnot and Cash and what. But as far as a person in a position of power to do something kind of bold, that was Admiral Rogers. I mean, absolute friggin' rock star hero.
That was, I mean, dude, NSA under Obama. Imagine who knows where the bodies really are buried. I mean, that's insane. And the fact that he's coming back in 26, this is exciting. This is that boomerang suicide. And man, after tonight's speech, panic in DC, panic in the foreign international scene. And even Boss mentioned Maduro. Dude, that might have been a rescue mission. That's evidence right there, baby. That's evidence. He was probably a walking time bomb. And this is going to get good.
So that's another question I'm going to ask. But on this particular topic, as I was doing my dig into these types of things about this court case or whatever, and I asked Grok what it thought its percentage of any one of these cases going to full prosecution and somebody going to jail. And they said 25%. And I said, why so low? And it came back with a whole bunch of different rules and things that it could run into and those sort of things. And I'm all, what about the evidence? You know, what about John Brennan's handwritten note and those sort of things? And they said, well, that's not, that's more evidence of it, but nothing they could actually prosecute on for itself because they're working as an active government itself. What if you got a video of Barack Obama videotaping of telling Brennan to make all this shit up with everybody inside that office with Susan Rice and the whole thing, right? The email. What if that was all videotaped and they're all taking about making all this shit up for Trump? And they said, well, they're working under President Obama. They're at that point, Presidential Powers Protection Act, blah, blah, blah. All this other stuff is going into. And I go, so you can't prosecute for this stuff like on this type of level in this court system that we're seeing. And it's basically, it's very small chance that we're going to see it. Most of the stuff would be a response to it in the legislation or rules that they put into it. Now, this doesn't go anything above. I didn't get into military tribunals or anything like that. Just the lay of the land, the way that Cannon, Geneva, those groups are over there putting this information together. And I go, even you got Mike Rogers, NSA, bringing out bombshell information, and it is still kind of poo-pooed on the information itself. It didn't raise the percentages all that much. So I'm still going to beat it up and ask some of the questions there about military tribunals and those sort of things and see what it says. But I tried everything I could possibly think to get a positive answer out of it. That's why I didn't make a positive post on it, because I didn't get anything out of it that I liked. Thoughts?
Well, yeah, they're a little resistant, I've found, to anything on the conspiratorial realm, and whether the conspiracy or facts or whatever, they're not getting a fulsome picture of everything as well. So they're not getting, as much as you're giving them good information and solid information, they're not getting all the little nuggets that you have in your head that we all know about that it doesn't, essentially. So there's probably a lot more that, because I doubt that you sat there for 2 hours and wrote one lengthy thing about everything, I'm saying every last little thing that was in there. But, again, AI is definitely it's learning and trying to get better, but it's a letdown as far as I'm concerned so far. You got to keep going back to the well with it.
I say you just got to be smarter than what you're working on and know if it's feeding you bullshit or not.
Yeah, you definitely have to recheck.
Yep. So just as a little input of some of the things I was digging into to see if I get some good info out of it. So that's on that side. So anything you guys want to throw out with Mike Rogers and this group and court cases and whatnot, and they call it cute intel. I mean,
that was just
Q-tel.
That was absolutely crazy.
Well, it reminds us of that Ghidra. Remember back in the day where the NSA tool Ghidra was dropped on the boards and how the logo was similar to the 8chan logo. And then out of nowhere, Boss mentions a company called Q Intel. And the way he says it, it kind of draws attention. Then we looked at it today and it's like, wow, where did this come from? And it was a website from 2009, July 12th, 2009. So that site has been there for a long time. But again, it reminds us that we don't know what's coming next. Remember, those last drops, nothing can stop what is coming. The NCWISC type of deal turned into CISA, and that was on the website for how long on that one cybersecurity website deal? And this is just fascinating that they use the Punisher symbol. We have Washington crossing the Delaware on the Durham boat. Remember Durham?
Ghostface, Ghost Army.
Our Ghostface, Ghost Army Punisher. And dude, it's like they hired us. This is the perfect timeline. We just need to see a little bit more quicker. But again, next week, 2 weeks, and we'll figure it out. But yeah, man, it's fun.
It's definitely entertaining. I'll put it that way. I think that's about all we got out of that one, right?
And real quick, guys, remember Executive Order 13848, the notice on the continuation of the national emergency with respect to foreign interference in or undermining public confidence in United States elections. And that's the EO on September 7th that keeps on getting renewed, even under the 4-year election under Sleepy Joe. So more coming for sure.
That's interesting. Yeah, the other people throwing out there, Monica Crowley, have a nice day. Little storm that we had seen, little pictures. I don't know, just thought it was interesting as we go through some of this stuff here. Where else did we leave off? Oh, yeah, we got to get back into this over here. Back into Georgia really quick for the key points that you were asking, Mr. Space Shot, there for the exact transcripts and some of the stuff that we're digging into out there. You want to take a little crack at this here?
Georgia. Okay.
Actually, we should read what Adam Schiff had set up at the top first.
As you watch the president's address tonight, keep this in mind. Trump was the guy badgering the Republican Secretary of State to, quote, find, and dude, I brought this up earlier too, find 11,760 votes. Just happens to be my birth date there, 1176, of the 2020 election that did not exist, but would have been just enough to defeat Biden in that state. He was lying then, and he will be lying now, both to continue the contest, to contest the last election he lost, and to set the stage to contest the midterm elections to come. You lying piece of crap. And then we have a Mr. Hulkinator at Hulkinator100 says, Senator, the transcript shows Trump said, quote, I just want to find 11,780 votes, which is one more than we have because we won the state, not 11,760. Biden's certified margin in Georgia was 11,779 votes. Trump spent the hour-long call laying out specific allegations, dead voters, signature verification issues in Fulton County, ballot drops, etc., and asking officials to investigate them properly. Raffensperger pushed back on the numbers, but later audits, the state elections board, and Fulton County admissions confirmed procedural errors and chain of custody problems in key areas. Trump wasn't inventing votes. He was demanding scrutiny of real concerns that could have flipped the result. Your quote of, he was lying then and will be lying now, framing assumes every disputed ballot was pristine, ignoring the documented issues that fueled distrust. Viewers should watch the address with open eyes, not selective memory. Irony alert, the guy lecturing about election lies once spent years hyping a Russian collusion narrative that collapsed under scrutiny. Pot meet kettle on contesting results. Pencil neck
that was
dweeb.
And you got to also remember, I mean, we told that story a bunch of times, but the Roethlisberger and Governor Kemp and his daughter's boyfriend dying in the fiery car crash that was super bright white that what's her name was talking about. And then we also have the GBI investigator who committed suicide investigating said crash. So that was later turned out to be a conspiracy theory. Just saying. Oh.
Got to kill the killers.
What just a crazy.
Got to kill the killers, and you got to kill the investigators. That's their MO.
Yeah, exactly. Clean up, wipe up. What else do we got here? Oh, yeah, Mr. Space Shot. Read that.
FBI analysts, plural, fired after refusing to join Georgia 2020 election probe. The analysts, a husband and wife, told colleagues they did not believe the Trump administration's investigation was justified. Well, guess what? That's not their job to know if it's justified. Their job is to check the numbers and see if it matches up or not. 2 Atlanta-based FBI intelligence analysts were fired last week after refusing to participate in the Trump administration's investigation of Georgia's 2020 election. 3 people were familiar with the matter. The analyst, a husband and wife, told colleagues they did not believe the investigation was justified under FBI and Justice Department policies, adding that the couple was escorted out of their office. The FBI neither confirmed nor denied the 2 analysts were fired. Quote, the FBI will always investigate credible allegations of matters related to federal elections. Every employee at this FBI is to uphold our mission and adhere to our standards. Any deviation will not be tolerated. As they reported on July 2nd, FBI Director Kash Patel has directed that about 260 intelligence analysts from around the country devote time to what a memo called a, quote, priority investigation in Atlanta. Multiple sources said it was the probe into the 2020 election in Georgia, which Joe Biden won by nearly 12,000 votes. After securing a judge's order, the FBI seized 600 boxes of ballots and other materials from that election in January. The FBI affidavit in support of the search warrant included several claims about potential fraud that previously had been debunked by Republican-led investigations in Georgia. The FBI memo says each analyst will be required to make 708 record checks by July, when? You guessed it, 17th. It is not clear what information the analysts are being tasked to examine, but FBI officials and other sources say it would include material gathered in the course of the investigation, possibly including the ballots themselves. One person familiar said analysts in one FBI field office were given a spreadsheet with 175,000 names along with dates of birth, and that they have been tasked to run those names through a commercial database to check whether the individuals are alive, and to determine a current address for each of them. Last week, that's a lot of numbers. Last week, a federal judge rejected as unreasonable Justice Department subpoena seeking the names and other information about Georgia election workers. Under Justice Department guidelines, the FBI may only conduct an investigation if agents can point to a set of facts reasonably indicating that an actual or potential federal crime or national security threat exists. I would say that's a major national security threat. The security of our elections, hell yeah. Multiple investigations have found no evidence to suggest fraud bullshit in the 2020 election at a level that could have changed the results. Senator Mark Warner, the former gang of a slimeball that knew what they were doing against President Trump, right along with Adam Schiff, but said nothing, right along with Adam Schiff, the ranking Democrat on the Senate Intelligence Committee, criticized the Georgia investigation in a letter his office said he sent to Patel, acting Attorney General Todd Blanche. Quote, this diversion of significant FBI resources towards a political investigation threatens the purpose of its mission and endangers Americans, he wrote, noting the timeline of the probe coming just months before the 2020 midterm elections. And I'll also note, Hulk, that pretty sure Kash said that crime altogether, murders are like pretty much at a record low. So yeah, they can lend out a few hundred FBI agents to go, do some stuff there, especially how good they've been doing lately.
So they got the order July 2nd to do it. They fired her July 11th, and the report to turn it in is tomorrow. As long as we're all keeping score.
Hell yeah. Tomorrow.
So we'll see what happens with it, but the the case together and see how much farther that goes, because they really wanted to figure out how many dead voters there are, and they want to figure out whoever went inside that building. Like her name, what's her name? The one that was putting the ballots in the box, Rose or something. What was her name?
Oh,
She got the
Friedman?
president. Yeah, Ruby Friedman.
Ruby. There you go. You said Rose.
I couldn't remember, dude. It's freaking so long ago. They got Presidential Medal of Freedom.
And the daughter, was the daughter Shay? I kept remembering Shay.
Yeah. With Dunkin' Dunks.
Yeah, that's the girl who called Blacks for Trump dude, and he showed up and started talking to her, and she got real nervous there and wanted to talk to the police because she said she didn't want to go down for everything. If I go down with it, I'm going to take everybody with me. Remember when she said that?
Yes.
And then Blacks for Trump got arrested.
Yeah.
Remember that?
Freeman and Shay Moss. So it's SHAYE Moss, if you guys want to look for that interview. But Hulk said, they had it recorded, and she was saying exactly what Hulk was just saying, like essentially admitting to it, but then they kiboshed her really quick.
So let's throw out.
We have some breaking news in the FBI's Fulton County election investigation. More than 200 federal agents.
Oh, the names I wanted to get through. What was it? John Ossoff and the Warnock. So, those two guys might be out. This is the guy that was going after Todd Blanche. And he's really calm and kind of Poindexter-ish type person. We'll get to him a little bit later in the show. But this guy right here is definitely playing the part to make sure that he doesn't get his position removed. So, yeah, he's definitely playing the stick out there. So Joe Biden, what was it? Won Georgia by 11,779 votes. Ossoff won the Senate by 54. Warnock won it by 93. Georgia reported duplicate ballots of 363,000 in the registration.
Damn.
So, and you got to remember, Fulton County, all that crap we're talking about is up in Atlanta area. They control Atlanta, the city itself. So we always have problems with those particular areas over there. So it's going to get interesting how they basically put this all back together and put the genie back in the bottle. And it's going to take prosecutions because, in my opinion, if nobody's being held for election integrity and voter fraud and all that, nobody goes to jail, then they're just going to keep doing it.
They just actually, boss just, I think the White House just dropped it a little bit ago. Hold on, let me see what it says right here. It's kind of funny that you said that because the White House is putting out, let me see, hold on, there it is right there. Yeah. Pass the Save America Act. If you don't have secure elections, you don't have a country. And then boss dropped last week, if no one goes to jail for election fraud, what incentive is there not to cheat? So this is leading up to that. I mean, this has to. We need it.
It's the only way it's going to work. People have to remember it as a history lesson. And then maybe they can institute some of the other things. What else do we want to get in here? She was bouncing back against her, talking about the speech. And this was, let me just read the little article. Months before the 2020 presidential election, U.S. intelligence issued a secret but stark warning that foreign adversaries had capabilities to compromise American voting infrastructure and raised the specific concerns of the vulnerabilities of voter registration database later that would penetrate by China and Iran, a newly declassified memo. Yeah, blah, blah, blah. That's all the same stuff he just said. What did she say?
The only other adversary of ours who's anywhere near as good as the Russians is China. So why should Russia have all the fun? And since Russia is clearly backing Republicans, why don't we ask China to back us?
I hereby tonight ask China.
That's right. And not only that, China, if you're listening, why don't you get Trump's tax returns? I'm sure our media would.
So, yeah, did she influence the 2020 elections there by telling China to hack the SolarWinds thing and backdoor everything and get into the voter rolls and take 225 million IDs of addresses and phone numbers of everybody inside the United States and then decide to make up new voter registrations inside each one of the states and then mail addresses and voter IDs and all that to those addresses so those people could vote ghostly? Yeah.
Only if it was Trump.
None of that happened.
Only if it was Trump that did it. Illegal.
And the other thing we want to talk about is that whole packet capture thing there at that point. You know, again, I'm not going to get into too much detail of what they're getting into, but we talked about foreign influence hacking coming from different servers, especially Serbia out there. They were talking about a whole bunch of other ones that they're using the attack on. And then, you know, at the end when Trump left, he opened up, 25 million new IPs that were in the what I'm going to call the desert of the internet that weren't used by the DOD, and turned them all on and registered them to some dude in Florida and left them on for months until Biden turned him off.
That was wild. Still didn't really get a clear answer what they were doing with it.
Just remember that that's kind of the Wild West when those DOD numbers are not really connected to anything. So a lot of the foreign actors will be able to use those numbers to be able to attack into the United States. So when Trump turned them all on, they basically all pointed back at the United States, and they sucked everything up with like a vacuum at that point until the Biden administration turned it off and took all those numbers back. So a lot of them were there, but packet capture is still going on. What else do we want to get into? The other thing I wanted to make sure we make mention of is we had that whistleblower from Venezuela that came over to the United States in September of 2025 and talked all about how Venezuela hacked its machines and the whole connection Dominion and Smartmatic and what was it, MD and C? I can't remember the other one. But how they all coordinated together. Thoughts, comments?
Oh, God. I mean, Tina Peters too, and I'm trying to remember, that guy was like a high up guy in Venezuela. I think he was like one of the main guys in Venezuelan intelligence as well. So I mean, we've gotten so much proof and so much evidence that what they're doing is just the matter of getting it out to people that have just poo-pooed this or denied it, or like my ex-coworker just think, oh, whatever, he's just whining. Like they don't understand the gravity of it, some of these people. Ooh.
You read that one.
Reader reminder, the feds have Nicolas Maduro's bookkeeper. He was extradited from Venezuela just after Maduro arrived in New York. He can show and prove who paid who, when, and why. Democrats are demanding Trump fire lead election fraud investigator Kurt Olson. Too late.
And that's that paper trail, dude. That's that paper trail. They're getting all the lawyers, the bookkeepers, this guy, people that we don't even know about in Venezuela. Even Venezuelans don't know who these people are. This is going to get spicy, guys. Alex Saab was one of the Maduro's regime's key financial allies. President Biden pardoned him in 2023. Today, he's back in the U.S. custody to face new federal money laundering charges brought by the Southern District of Florida. And there's that Florida again. SDF.
Keep going.
Guys, Maduro regime ally Alex Saab arrested on Monday money laundering charges involving Venezuelan food contracts and oil. Quote, thanks to the efforts of Homeland Security Task Force, Alex Saab will be prosecuted and held fully accountable under U.S. law for his alleged role in this scheme, from A.G. Blanche.
So, yeah.
Stepped it up, man, yeah.
I mean, that's interesting that they're charging this particular guy. I don't see any deals, cooperating witness, or any of those things yet to see if anything gets bigger out of the Venezuelan stuff. But we still have Nicolas Maduro. He's had one hearing and nothing after that here at this point. So, yeah, I thought that was interesting. And, you know, I want to throw this out because this is what J.D. Vance, he was on Joe Rogan the other day, if you didn't see this.
I'm not skeptical. I'm accusing them. I think they stole the election.
Yes.
And
yes.
I think it's common. And this idea that elections can't be stolen. I always say to people, okay, do you think that the amount of election fraud is 0%? No one thinks that.
Yeah.
No one thinks it's zero.
Exactly.
There's always some overzealous person that works somewhere that's doing something. There's always crazy people that like blue no matter who, we got to win. I think they cheat. And I think they've been doing it forever. And I don't think there's any other reason why you would have no voter ID. And they try to say, oh, it's racist to have voter ID. Like, what are you talking about? Do you think other races are incapable of going to the DMV? That's insane.
Yeah, that's
racist.
It's actually super racist.
That's really racist.
Right, the implication of their argument is literally like blacks and Hispanics cannot go to the DMV to get an ID. By the way, if you look at the polling, Black Americans are as pro-voter ID. Even though most Black Americans vote Democrat, they're still pro-voter ID as much as white Americans is.
Most Americans are voter.
So
they want voter ID, except for operatives.
So I'll offer on the Joe Rogan podcast this deal as vice president of these United States that if Democrats really don't think that there's any cheating, give us voter ID.
I just don't know
Give us
how
voter
it's
ID,
not.
and we'll stop talking so
Why
much
is that
about
not
elections.
a federal thing?
We are trying to make it a federal thing. So we are right now trying to pass the Save America Act. One of its main provisions is a requirement that you do voter ID.
And we're still not there yet. But yeah, it's just an interesting conversation that they had between each other talking about voter ID. And I don't think anybody in the United States thinks it's absolutely zero, but the Democrats will defend it 100%.
Oh, absolutely. What do you say? No, vote blue no matter who. That's absolutely, spot on. And like you've said numerous times, the other side works a little bit better in lockstep than we do. It seems like a lot of folks try to claw over each other to try to, be the man or the woman or whatever it may be. And the other side is all kind of goal oriented. That is where we lack.
Yeah, just an interesting here. I'm not going to play this, but he's making comments about the LA elections were very suspicious. And it's like you were designing the vote share in order to kick out Spencer Pratt and put a third person into second place and then vote in a tax increase for LA at the same time. And we don't know where this other lady is. I haven't seen her back on the news whatsoever. It's just Karen Bass. So they both kind of got both quiet, but right after that election. So we'll see if they put justice together and see if they can make a difference in California. I hope they can. I hope Steve wins.
Steve Hilton, yeah, he would be definitely good for sure. But we'll see what happens, right? And it is interesting, that the girl kind of went disappearing because, her mission is accomplished. That's all she wanted to do. They don't actually want her to go against Bass. They just want her to get old Spencer out of the way. But I don't know. I feel like there's more to that story as well. Hopefully they had a sting operation going. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think it's ending. It's far from over. Let's go back into the news and remember some of the other stories that just come out here. Well, we figured out that Mr. What's his name? Jack Smith over there subpoenaed pretty much everybody's text messages and phone numbers out there. Even Grassley, head of the Judiciary Committee. I mean, I don't know how you jump over hoops to go over and get the top senator in the Senate and top of the Judiciary Committee and all the investigation, dude, that he didn't find out that he was being freaking bugged out there. I mean, they got even Cory Booker and some other people. Yeah. It's like everybody. I mean, even Lisa Stenfak. I mean, you got Democrats, you've got Republicans, Thomas Massey. I mean, it comes back to the thought process is, when did Ray know it? When did he know it? Let's go back and listen to what he said. Space Shot, who ordered the raid on Mar-a-Lago? Do you remember?
Joe Biden?
No.
Well, I'm going with Joe Biden. Merrick Garland?
Yeah, you're right. You're absolutely. He was the one that authorized and told everybody to go raid Mar-a-Lago. It came out later. That's his decision alone. That's what he was saying. But, was Joe Biden telling him over the other side, screaming at him, telling him to go after him? So where's it put this good old Ray buddy over here? Rays of light? Did he put everything in the rat hole and the burn bags at the FBI? Because for him to not know is kind of interesting. If we're seeing the depravity that we've seen on the 7th floor, even coming out of Kash Patel's mouth, is some of the weird stuff that happens over there. And then Trump even making the mentions that he's seen Robert Mueller and was it Comey or one of the other guys, McCabe, I think, they were kissing each other. And
that's right.
We
Trump
all know about. Remember, they also talked about the two lovers, Lisa and Strzok, at the same time, and There was big giant sex party on the 7th floor. So a lot of interesting things he said coming out of Kash Patel's mouth.
Oh, yeah. And I'm looking at a post now, 1122. Trust Sessions, trust Ray, trust Kansas, trust Horowitz, trust Huber. I don't know that I trust Kansas, Mikey Palms. I don't know. I just don't know. But the rest, Huber.
Remember, he threatened Tucker Carlson to stop talking about WikiLeaks and the Julian Assange or else we're going to kill you.
Yep.
Remember that in the car?
Oh, yeah. That's why I don't trust Mikey Palms. And, all that weight he lost really quickly, he just looks weird. But he does look like him, minus a lot of weight. But, yeah, I mean, what do you say? I mean, Sessions, a lot of people kind of poo-poo him. And, I feel like he hasn't gotten that moment that we were told about in the drops, which where, essentially you got to take a couple for the team to later become found out to be a hero or something along those lines, right?
Yeah, we'll eventually find out if we're going to make it that way. Just putting the little tidbits of the stuff that I remember out there with you guys itself. Tron, is there anything you could throw on top? Anything you want to mention on this?
Well, I mean, yeah, Rays of Light, and we had it back then, but not only with the drops, but how he was acting. And then Boss talks about burn bags. And I think if Ray's going to have a story to tell from FBI, then maybe Mikey Palms has some stories to tell from CIA. Remember when Fat Mikey was sitting down talking about they stole, they cheat, they steal, or something along those lines, what they got away with. And that's just a small little, peek behind the curtain on what goes on in these three-letter agencies. So again, you have to shine the light on the corruption and also put the name to the crime committed. So Mikey Palms might come back into the picture at some point. All of those that you mentioned, Space Shot, with the trust this person, trust that person, at some point they're going to be unlocked for a role, essentially. I mean, we're seeing that with a lot of these characters. So I mean, I'm not defending him. He's definitely dirty. But let's just see how this all plays out,
See what happens.
Yeah, I'm just going back through the list out there. I mean, Doug Collins is even in here, and he has been in office forever. So this is going back quite a far way. So I wonder if it goes all the way back to the 2016 stuff.
I'm pretty sure that is that stuff. And you know what I was most weirded out about is there's actually, like right there where your cursor is, Adam Smith, Democrat, Washington. Pretty sure Cory Booker was on that. Karen Bass.
Yeah.
Rep Karen Bass is on that list right there. Like 5 or 6 below the one you got highlighted right now. I didn't know she was a regular senator. That's weird. Or a regular congresswoman. Karen Bass, Democrat,
it's a
California.
different, she's, I don't think it's Karen Bass. You're thinking not the mayor girl. But yeah. That's interesting. So we still got no SAVE Act going to be coming out from Thune. They're playing the games over here. Congress is definitely putting the SAVE Act with the NDAA, and they're going to ship it back over to the Senate. But we're down to Cornyn, who would be our deciding vote. So if we're going to lay out everybody out on the line here, and everybody voted to their previous party lines out there, whether you're a rhino or not, it seems like Cornyn down in Texas is going to be deciding to vote for the SAVE Act and to get this thing through there. Just as a reminder, he's losing his particular spot, and it's going to be between Paxton and somebody else. I can't remember the other guy, Tarico or whatever his name is, that are running for that particular spot, because Cornyn's going to be out in January. So just interesting things to think about. So what are they going to have to give Cornyn, who's already lost the election? He's no way he's going to stay in. He's out at Texas. What do they got to give him before he leaves to vote yes?
Get out of jail free card. Oh, and Hulk, I got a super chat on from YouTube that has a pretty interesting one. But so let me thank Twisted Clown for $2 super chats. One of them was from when Trump was talking earlier. It says, "And here we go." And then this recent one says, quote, "Dan Bongino did say he found them bags. Credit Dan." But I'm also pushing back a little bit on that. And while I got the mic, thank you, D Starboy, for gifting out 5 subscriptions to the channel. I appreciate that, brother. I'm pushing back on that a little bit, and maybe my memory's a little fuzzy, Hulk and Tron. I could have sworn that Cash had said somebody had led them to those bags. Am I misremembering
I
that?
heard
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
over the course of the couple of weeks that we heard about the burn bags, I do remember, and it seemed like that they were talking about there were multiple locations of where this evidence was found. It seems like a lot of it was kept in one particular location, and then also to mention the secret servers they have that are technically off the books that they would have to transfer between directors. So all the stuff they don't want anybody to know about, that, oh, we don't have any of those files, they just keep them on a secret server nobody has access to except for the people in the FBI. Well, Kash Patel technically has access to a lot of that stuff. And I also want to remember when Trump wanted to talk about the spy list inside the United States, and they were asking Radcliffe, hey, can you go check it out and give us the list and kind of discern if we got any issues of foreign influence and all that? And they told Radcliffe, no, you can't have the list. Yeah, his own agency told him, no, you can't have the list. What do you mean? I'm the head of the agency. You don't have access to it. Sorry, sir.
Correct. And remember, he wrote that report after the 2020 election. Remember, President Trump wanted a report, I think, 45 days after the election. And then him being the director of national intelligence, Ratcliffe at the time, came back with a letter that was co-signed by the Inspector General's ombudsman, essentially saying, hey, look, I can't get you that report you want because essentially all these guys in here, these analysts, they will not say a bad word about China. They're more than willing to throw Russia under the bus. Sure, Russia, but they just won't say a bad word about China. And so therefore, because of that, can't give you that report, buddy. Sorry. I mean, it's just they're laying it out left and right that there's foreign influence in our elections. But everybody else is like, he's just, what is he whining about? Like, no big deal. Like, yeah, if it was Obama or Biden, you guys would have a problem with it, right? You hypocrites.
Yeah, but it's not that big. It can't be that big. There's no way that they could steal an election. No way, right? Yeah, no, they can.
Well, to Obama's even point, right? The idea that you could even rig an election. It's like, really? You moron. You forgot about your Democrats at the press conference having high school kids break into the machines, in 2016, 17, 18? Somewhere in that ballpark.
And also tell them to do a creative writing assignment on the ICA and to point it back at Russia helped Trump. Remember that? Yeah, good times. Good times.
Yeah.
That's where it all started. What else we got? This is the dude from Georgia, I believe, is going to lose his spot. If I remember, this is the right. No, this is not. This is not him. He's he's the announcer guy.
He's even more dorky looking than that guy.
What was I getting in here? Reports they outlined that Trump's turn to Poon and Solomon, both elevated to June to help release the election intelligence and material long held by Trump officials. This was the list that Tulsi had put together for DNI and the investigation that she did. This is that report that's supposed to be coming out probably by Friday. So we only got a little bit of a taste, some breadcrumbs, as the main dish should be tomorrow, guys. So it was Pulte and Solomon that put together a lot of the info and put it together. So it's interesting. Pulte is over there helping out a lot with the DNI.
Tomorrow, huh? What's the date going to be on that day of tomorrow? Oh,
17.
17.
Who are the 17?
Less than 10.
Can confirm me.
Okay, here's the other side of this is because they had mentioned in the Supreme Court decision itself that obviously you can't have somebody who is a, what do they call it? Diplomats that come over and can't have U.S. citizenship inside the United States and those sort of things. They made that absolutely clear on some of the rules that are in there. So now we do have Congress stepping up and are going to define that word of citizen that's in the 14th Amendment. That's what both Kavanaugh and some of the other conservative groups had said, that you need to steer the legislation this way so then we can rule in your favor. So as the word of the law that went, the way they have it, they left it as it is, even though the unsurmountable evidence or whatnot. I haven't heard anything about the retrial, about hearing the case again due to the billboards that were found on the border for $4,000 to $6,000 for birth tourism in Texas for the local hospitals that were being paid by Medicaid. Yay. In case we're all keeping score.
So much.
There's
coming
so
out,
much
dude.
you got to remember.
It's been, I mean, you got to be into the trillions by now with all the fraud everywhere, all over the place. It's just, it's wild. It is.
Oh, since we're speaking about UPS and all that, read this for everybody.
Why, certainly. Julie Kelly says, right before the 2020 election, D.C. District Court Judge Emmett Sullivan halted the Postal Service's plans to shore up mail processing rules to handle massive influx of mail-in ballots. Democratic states and cities sued to stop the USPS guidance. On September 17th of 2020, Sullivan, who's a Clintonite, entered a preliminary injunction on behalf of the Democratic litigants. A few years later, Sullivan entered a summary judgment along the same lines. Today, a D.C. appellate panel determined Sullivan had no jurisdiction over the matter. Too late to have any impact on the 2020 election. Wow, dude.
Do you remember the other case that Sullivan took?
Flynn?
Yeah, there you go. Same one. Just making sure you're keeping score. So they kicked him in the teeth and just basically said, no, the Postal Service can do their job. So if you're not going to adhere to election rules, then we won't serve you mail-in ballots, maybe. I think that's where this comes in at. So little tidbits we want to be paying attention to. That was the Postal Service deal. The two that weren't going to run it, NBC, ABC, not going to run it out there. Now, this little dude right here, this little weasel, this is your dude that's going to lose his seat if they push the issue over there in the election deal. He's definitely playing the part, and we'll just get a little bit of this weasel.
That Director Gabbard was present at the Fulton County raid in Georgia earlier this year?
You discussed that with me yesterday in your office.
This is Jay Clayton, who's going to take over for DNI, because they did do hearings this one. They did it for him and who's the DOJ guy off the top of my head? The lead
Blanche.
DOJ, Trump's lawyer. Blanche, thank you. So those are the two that had confirmation hearings this week.
Are you aware that Director Gabbard was present at the Fulton County raid earlier this year?
You brought it to me, my attention.
What is going
yesterday.
on here? You've said at the beginning of this you have an obligation to be honest and forthright with the committee. I'm asking a very simple question. Are you aware that Director Gabbard was present at the Fulton County raid earlier this year? Yes or no? Are you aware?
I was.
You won't answer that question either.
I just said I was made aware of it by you yesterday.
The first time you learned that Director Gabbard was present at that raid was in my office yesterday?
It was the first time that in my recollection I've thought about it recently. Now, was I aware of it before?
What?
You brought it to my attention yesterday.
Okay.
I had not thought.
So you had not known
I had
until...
not thought about it until you brought it to my attention yesterday.
Your answers lack credibility. Your testimony lacks credibility. You're being evasive and you're not being candid or forthright. And everybody across the country is going to watch this and know that. Are you aware that former Director Gabbard testified that her presence at the raid was, quote, requested by the president?
I'm not aware of that until now.
Okay, you are now aware of that.
Yeah.
Are you aware that members of this committee are already probing Director Gabbard's potential misconduct in this matter?
No, I don't. I'm not privy to your probe into.
Are you aware that the...
Oh my God, what a bunch of crap. So this guy should be kicked right out of Congress out there as he tries to set up Jay Clayton. Some people are saying he's a little weak out there. I don't know. He was put in that spot of the Southern District of New York. We haven't seen too much movement out of there. So we'll see what he does over at DNI. So yeah.
I mean,
let's see if he gets out of there.
Dude, there's another one in which he went back and forth because he's like, basically, who won the election? And he's like, are you going to engage? And he just sat there and was silent. It was actually pretty interesting. So people might read that as weak, but I look at it as like, he's done with their bullshit, right? He's like, we talked about this in the office yesterday. Why are you bringing it up publicly today? So I'm looking at it like more like he's done with their bullshit, and he knows exactly what they're doing. We all know what they're doing.
Yeah. And the clip that you're referencing, pretty much he answered, I've already answered your question for about 2 minutes.
Exactly.
I've already answered that. What else do we want to get in here? Oh, wow, yeah. Let's go. I think this is I think this is Thune? Reporter. Yeah, we want to get a little clip of this really quick here.
Have you thought differently about him at all as he has spent so much more time on decorating and on monuments to himself?
Yeah,
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to make you choke on the water.
These are the things I don't care about. This is his genius, getting you to care about. And look,
I shouldn't care about that arch or whatever.
Fuck no.
Go on.
Absolutely not. Not the arch, not the pool, not the ballroom. This is all meaningless stuff. Steve Bannon famously said, the way we win is we flood the zone with shit, and you're eating the shit. You don't have to. Care about what's important.
Have you thought?
I think that makes perfect sense. And they are eating the shit as they chase all the little squirrel-tailed cat, rabbit type things as they run around trying to play cover for all these stories out there. And they're just focusing on stuff that doesn't really matter to America. Ballroom, arch, who cares? You know, how do I get my prices cheaper on energy and food and shit?
Exactly. Stop eating the shit. That is freaking hilarious, dude.
And you're eating the shit. That is one of the best ones that are out there. So I think he does come out with some good lines every once in a while out there. Let's check in with Mitch McConnell over. Has released a new video showing he's absolutely fine with sitting next to his China wife as she came back because he's going through recovery, and seems to be a problem with the photo of some sort here. Some people are saying it's a previous photo there and it has nothing to do with AI. I don't see it. I don't see what they're talking about over there.
That Chinese woman seems out of place, doesn't she?
It's a little weird.
I'm just saying, even got this comment right here. Listen to what Johnson says here.
You said that you were told the picture of Mitch McConnell is not a current picture. Is that right?
Okay, so I was on a show, and the media, the host said that picture was AI. And literally just from a half hour earlier, somebody in the media told me, yeah, we found that was an earlier photo. And I should not have said it because I have no idea. And I said at the time, I don't know what's true. I haven't talked to Mitch McConnell. I wish there was more transparent, but they haven't been. I certainly hope Mitch McConnell recovers, that he returns to the Senate. Listen, it's sad watching people get old, right? There's nothing good about getting old. I wish McConnell, well. But no, I have no idea. I have no information whether that picture was current or not.
So just as a reminder, as we told you last week on the show, I believe the date is September 7th. They have to whether say he's dead or not, because if it's before that date, they get to name another person. If it's after that date, they just get to keep the spot, basically. So there's a date coming off that here in the next 20 days. So I don't know if they're going to continue to play RBG hide and seek game.
Yeah, do they have enough ice for that?
I mean, that's where we're going against for the local state elections and those types of things and what the governor wants to do. He's a Democrat, though, but he's going to have to pick a Republican. And remember, they did all that legislation that said that Mitch McConnell gets to pick his replacement, blah, 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 if he doesn't finish out his term. Remember all that? Yes, most people don't, but those are rules that are set up for Mitch McConnell when it is announced. On the other side of that, Grindr hereby lowers its headquarters flag to half staff in memorial of our most loyal customer, Lindsey Graham. He is checked out there. Just as a reminder, just a little bit. I mean, just because you're walking around Disneyland all by yourself with a Disney tiara and a little magic wand. I mean, I'm not saying that's a little unusual for a grown man of 60-something to be doing that.
Little zesty.
Maybe his parents never took him when he was a child because he didn't have enough money. Remember, he's poor. He only had a $1.3 million. He was clean. I'm being sarcastic. Okay.
Oh God. So yeah, that happened down there. So Lindsey Graham, who came back from meeting with Zelensky over there, and all the talk about that possibly that Russia basically poisoned him and all those types of things. I'm not sure. He did have a large, massive heart attack with some particular aorta, something. It's pretty common with it. And the other people that died in those was, there was a list of people that were famous people that all died of the same. Yeah.
John Ritter from Three's Company and that one family show, he died like on set with that same type of deal. Instant, boom.
Yep.
He was healthy for the most part.
So his sister, or sorry, medical examiner, aortic dissection due to whatever you want to call this, some common disease that they're having. They did go do a full investigation. FBI was over there with a bunch of people just to make sure everything was on the up and up. And of course, the news media took it the other way, that they're investigating some conspiracy theories and stuff like that. When you have a high-ranking senator just drop dead after talking with Trump saying, you know, I can't die yet, I got to go and finish this Russia this and sanction that and Iran this, and then dies a couple hours later after talking with Trump. So yeah, they're really concerned about this.
What about the timeline, dude? You had some people saying, well, first off, you had people like knowingly, not knowingly, people like Iran coming out making a leg, oh, we killed him, bahaha, we're taking credit, we killed him. And then some people are saying, well, he was killed maybe by Russia in the drone factory. And then you had other people saying, well, there's no way he would have had time to get on the train and then get on the plane and then actually be back in Washington, D.C. in time. So I don't know. I know he's gone. In this grand scheme of this movie, he gone. Or at least that's what they're saying. Yes. They're telling us.
So, yeah, John McCain's friend took his exit. I don't know if it was arranged or not. I don't know, but just wanted to throw that little topic out there. What else do we got? There's Tron. You want to read the last half there?
Right there, Darlene Graham Nordone, Lindsey Graham's sister, was sworn in today as interim South Carolina senator after his July 11th death, serving until January of 2027 per state law. Key context for reply: she's the first woman Supreme Court senator, has no elected experience but 6+ years leading the Commission for the Blind and rehab work, appointed back by Trump, McMaster, and Tim Scott. Potential reply angles: note the family tribute aspect, question placeholder versus long-term fit ahead of August primary, or highlight historic first for women. Yeah.
So this is Mitch McConnell too, August primary. They're trying to hold out that date, so we'll see what happens. What else do we got? You know, Supreme Court guys were doing testimony here today because they got to get their budget approval. And holy shit, I learned a whole lot about security for the Supreme Court. You guys ready? Did anybody see this? Here we go.
So I thought I would just share a little bit about how the threats have affected me and my family personally. Yes. They have required me to, my children, to think about and see things that children should not have to see or think about. One example is when threats to my life were particularly intense a few years ago, around the time of the Dobbs leak. My security detail sent me home with a bulletproof vest, and I carried it into my house, put it into my bedroom, dropped it down on a table, turned around, and my 12-year-old son was standing in the doorway of my bedroom, and he wanted to know what it was and why I had it. And I didn't know how to respond because maybe I lack imagination, but I didn't expect that performing this service was going to put me in the position of explaining to my children what a bulletproof vest was and why I had to wear one. It's also been reported in the news that roughly 6 weeks ago, I was the victim of a swatting incident. At that point, my teenage son, one of my teenage sons, opened the door to go out with friends and saw in our street, it was full of police cars, who had responded to a false report of gunshots and raised voices in my home. I was very, very grateful that I had Supreme Court police outside my home because they were able to stop and meet with and explain to the county police that it had been a false alarm, and so the police did not actually attempt to enter our home. Many of us, me included, have received threatening anonymous deliveries designed to intimidate and harass us. They are often sent in the name of Judge Salas's son, who I think, as you mentioned in the beginning, Mr. Chairman, is deceased because he was killed by a disgruntled lawyer who showed up at Judge Salas's home intending to kill her, but her son, 20 years old at the time, opened the door and took the bullet instead. Her husband, standing behind, was seriously injured. So I think the message on these deliveries being sent in his name is clear. As Justice Kagan said, federal judges across the country, throughout the judiciary, including the Supreme Court, continue to do their jobs without fear or favor, but the threat level is really high. So
So it just kind of reminds me of what Kavanaugh, he ran into with the shooter that showed up in front of his house. I can't remember the other one that the Clinton judge that was going after the Clinton Foundation or whatever is over on the East Coast. Basically, guy showed up and shot her right in the chest, killed her.
Which one was the Minnesota Tim Walz one? Remember with the mask?
Oh yeah, that was a total different one. That was a totally different one that went after those because they were trying to go after the investigation into Tim Walz, and this supposed shooter person went in and killed two of the key people doing the investigation into Tim Walz. So yeah, very interesting things. And the guy was a retired cop. They found him and arrested him and charged him. I'd have to go back and look at the story where it is now. But yeah, that was interesting. What else do we got in here? Oh yeah, wait. There's the other part here. Did you hear about this, Sean?
No.
Yeah, I did actually. Carolyn Levitt was asked that question. The dude was making tons of cash off of Boss's speeches. I think he wrote the sons of bitches.
So the guy made $90K on Cashew for betting on Trump's speeches. I spoke to him about it. He believes it's deeply unfortunate and frankly a disgrace. And the individual that was cited in the report is complying with the investigators and to put on an unpaid administration leave. Yeah. So there'll be a new teleprompter operator.
Yeah, that's having the Gray Sports Almanac. Number one rule of time travel: you're not supposed to benefit financially. It was in Quantum Leap. It was in Back to the Future. It's like a thing. Can't do it.
Just a try.
Exactly.
Time travel basic rules.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm gonna throw this one out for everybody. Did you guys hear him saying the word Pepe?
Oh. Something else. Now that you've announced that the U.S. has destroyed all of Iran's mine-laying ships, why can't the U.S. just immediately reopen the Strait of Hormuz?
Well, we could, but it takes two to tango. We have to get people to take their $1 billion ship and drive it up. If when Pepe has his big sugar ships coming around and they cost $1 billion, and we say, I think it's okay now, Pepe, take your ship, drive it through the Strait of Hormuz. He may say, let me wait a little while, because it takes ship owners and these ships are very expensive. They can cost up to $2 billion. So they don't want to take a chance that, gee, I think you'll be okay. They got to know it. So they don't have to set, we don't know if they even set any mines. But the thought that they may have is enough to keep people from saying, we don't need it. Now, we are pounding that area, that coast, as you know, left side. We're pounding it, like really pounding it hard. And again, they may have no mine set. We hit every one of their mine droppers. They call it the mine layers, right? The ships. They're pretty sophisticated ships. Every one of them is gone. But it only takes one. So it's a little unfair. You win a war, but they have no right to be doing what they're doing. But we're hitting them very hard. And today is a big day where we're pounding a certain area that has very much to do with the strait. And I think we'll get it going very soon. In addition, we do have other nations coming in. You need people to watch and people to see. We have other nations coming in. Yes, please.
So, yeah, Pepe, I had to go ask AI. Is there anything out there on the internet of any boats associated with Pepe of producing product, making product, transporting product, anything that you could find out on the internet that has to do with Pepe and some sort of shipping company or anything you put together? And they go, nope, it's just like a term, like a general term, like a Tom, Dick, or Harry.
Yeah, he made it up. That's the guy's name is Pepe. Yeah.
Yeah. Just going to use a general term of Pepe.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody uses that word, right? Only in our little movement where we have Pepe the Froggy, huh?
So I had to go double check because I'm all, what the hell is he talking about Pepe and sugar chips? We'll get there. Raising Cane over here too, making some comments.
Looking around this room today, I'm humbled and inspired by the convergence of talent, experience, and patriotism gathered in this room. We've got defense CEOs, tech pioneers, capital allocators, investors, military officers. And the way I think about this is the three amigos of America's defense: funders, founders, and fighters. And you got to have all three to drive America's combat capability. The collective brainpower, energy, and experience of all of you in this room represents what I believe to be America's single greatest strategic advantage. And that's each and every one of you. It's a powerful reminder, and we should never forget this, that when we go fight our nation's wars, we never do it alone. It is always with our private sector partners. Your continued innovation, your shared commitment to this mission are not just helpful, my friends, it's essential. And as we look at the tapestry and the landscape, the global environment that we're operating in right now, I couldn't be more grateful for each and every one of you. And this is an important time. It's complex, it's dynamic, and it's consequential for our nation's security and our shared future. Looking around this room today.
I muted the wrong button. Yeah, thank you, Raising Cane. So just it's interesting to watch the coalesce of some of the industrial military complex being rebuilt and reordered. Because I started checking out what he was talking about and some of the things that they're running into, and obviously we're seeing the acceleration of AI because they want to spend $800 billion this year, $1 trillion next year, which is going to help out with the whole Terminator takeover, Skynet type of thing, maybe. Who knows? Hopefully we don't get there. But they're accelerating a lot of the stuff that's come out there. So I went to go check because they're spending a shitload of money out there. And one of the plants that they were spending $500 million on to make M107 shells, and they were transferring it over to make M57, whatever it is, on the other side so they can update it. They're having a problem with the plant, and they're actually thinking about scrapping a $500 million plant because they can't fix it with the particular operators. And this is coming from the old guard side that said that they can't keep up with it, and they've been trying for 2 years. While Andrew and the rest of the group are out there going out like gangbusters and overcoming these issues itself because they're asking for acceleration of the product itself. And some of these legacy groups might get cut out of the new market, is what it looks like to me. But go ahead.
No. Did you know that Raising Cane, Dan, was one of two F-16 fighter pilots flying air defense over D.C. on 9/11? And he came out of retirement to take over CQ Brown. Remember that guy? His spot. And yeah, man, Raising Cane is one of Boss's favorite. Yeah, CQ Brown. Wow, I can't wait to see what he brings. Warfare strategies.
Yeah, that's interesting out there. I might as well just pick up the big giant list of things that we've attacked out there. Can you read this space shot, and I'll be back in like 30 seconds?
All right, July 15th strikes. Evening wave ended 9 p.m. Eastern Time, hit Iranian command centers, air defense sites, missile and drone capabilities, and coastal surveillance facilities, including Bandar Abbas. Morning wave hit coastal defense and cruise missile sites on Greater Tunb Island. Goal, degrade the threats to shipping in the Strait of Hormuz, holding Iran accountable. Major hits last few days. July 11th through the 16th. July 15th, multiple waves on command air defense missiles, plus Greater Tunb. July 14th, targets in Bandar Abbas. All these weird names I can't pronounce. Debunked civilian claims. July 13th, sea drones hit submarine ship facility at Bandar Abbas Naval Base. Was the first use. July 11th and 12th, around 140 targets, missile, naval, ammo comms, over 300 in total in days earlier. 80 to 90 targets, plus 60 plus IRGC boats, also enforcing naval blockade, turning back vessels to Iranian ports. Precision strikes on military capabilities only, and no boots on the ground.
They started hitting train connectors and bridges and electrical plants are some of the new stuff that they started hitting today. And of course, they put a bounty on Trump's head for, I think, $10 million to take out Trump. But yeah, good luck with that. So they've been knocking at the door of the ring and trying to get deals with Trump, but the hardliners are still putting the bullshit out. So he's going to pepper him up a little bit before he goes and talks to him. I think we're on the 5th day is today of straight bombing. So staying away from much civilian stuff as they can get, but they are going to take out the electrical plants and whatnot. So we'll see what happens.
Didn't they take out that communications tower like last week or so? The one in which people would comment? The Strait of Hormuz, the actual control tower you're talking about? Yeah, the big white one.
That one? Yeah, that was last week. That's where they run the operations. They're going to go through Strait of Hormuz, so it's their like control tower for those types of things. And then Trump came out and said, no, we're going to control it, and we're going to charge you guys 20%. And then Iran goes, oh, we charge less than that. We only charge like $1 million or so. And then that's when Trump came back out and says, no, we're going to make the people invest that are transiting the Strait of Hormuz into the United States. That's what we turned it into.
Yeah.
So it kind of goes back and forth as they play these particular games itself. Yeah, let's do some baby stuff, dude. Might as well make funnies of it.
But Mr. President, you noted the United States is bombing Iran again. I mean, you've been bombing Iran for months now. Is this just the new normal for the American people?
Well, we're in Vietnam for 19 years. We're here for 4 months. So I think we've done a lot. We've knocked out their Navy in a period of 1 month. We knocked out their Air Force. Their Air Force is non-existent. We knocked out most of their missiles, most of their drones. We knocked out their drone manufacturing capability, about 92%. Their missile capability for manufacturing, we knocked out 89%. And they have a little capability, but they don't have any capability for us. This is almost a military skirmish. Now, with all of that being said, you have to get people that want to make something. We had a deal with them 2 days ago, and then they said, oh, we can't make that deal. We have to negotiate it further. And this is what they've done for 47 years. The difference is nobody negotiated like I do. And this should have been done by Bush and Obama and Biden and people before them, frankly. It's 47 years they've been ripping off everybody.
I thought it was funny. Especially with Biden and the ice cream.
I liked how the missile came out and just like fell over. But yeah, they are hilarious. Even the little stupid looks that they give over to the cameras are pretty hilarious to me.
So what else did I hear out there? That they're obviously going to attack every U.S. military installation they can get their hands on with as much rockets as they can. They've been hitting Kuwait and some other Gulf states that are over there. So there are some issues, and we're not covering 100% of everything that comes out of Iran. So they still got a little capability and, sucker punch people or whatnot. So it's still rolling. So at this point, the bombings will continue until morale improves. Coming from Pete Hegseth over there at DOD, right? I think that's where that came from.
I like it. Keep on bombing it. Yep.
Yeah, and we saw a couple of flybys, dude, that were, I mean, you thought those helicopters last week were crazy. The ones that they did, was it today or yesterday, were just like, whoa, like the people, like their towels and stuff, like 3, 4, 5 seconds after the planes have gone by, were just like hurricane, like super low. Cool.
Here, we'll throw this out here.
In one 18-month period.
Oops. Let's go back to the beginning.
In one 18-month period between 1971 and 1972, the FBI counted some 2,500 bombings on American soil, a rate of nearly 5 a day. The overwhelming share of that violence came from left-wing extremists. Between 1970 and 1980, 93% of terrorist attacks in the West came from the far extremist left. These are numbers that would shock most Americans today because we've been taught to believe that this kind of political violence, it simply doesn't exist or it's being exaggerated. But it does exist, and we're actually underestimating it. And our nations bear the scars to prove it.
Yeah, you remember that when Karen Bass and the rest of those DSA associates over there during the 70s over there, they blew up the Senate building? Remember that? Oh. But I had no idea an 18-month period between 71 and 72, they were bombing 5 a day. I had no idea, guys. I didn't go fact check this and go back and look at it. But if you're just looking at the first sentence he said off there right off the top, I don't remember that. Anybody in the chat that is old enough to remember the Weather Underground guys and them blowing up stuff, Bill Ayers, the rules for radicals, that whole thought process? Am I just crazy?
Well, the only one that I remember like hearing about anyways is like you're saying is the one where they actually bombed or set off a bomb in Senate, Congress, whatever. But yeah, I was not aware of the additional 2,499.
There was a bank's robbery truck too. They did a whole bank robbery for funding and shit like that. I mean, they were doing some pretty crazy stuff, guys.
Let's see what the folks in here are saying here. What they saying here? Parallel 8. Thank you for the raid there, Mark. I appreciate you, brother.
What's up, brother?
What's up? What's up? Let's see. Anybody else remember that in the chat? You would think Democrats could learn self-control in 40 years, Bamlo says. I know we have some viewers in here older than myself. But it always does take about, a good 20, 30 seconds. Chi-Chi in charge says, I was in college, and it happened in Chicago mostly, which makes sense, right? Because they're out of there for sure. I'm
checking chat just to see if anybody bounces back.
P Dancer responding to P Dancer, who said...
Namester says, the Weather Underground was notorious. I graduated in 74. Wasn't there a Dirty Harry movie about that? I have no idea.
Cisco Lady Liberty says, I remember the burning and the bombings. Yep. And PD77 says, I was 25 years old when those attacks were happening, but I really wasn't listening to politics at that time of my life. Sure. Code Talker says, yes, I do. They bombed recruiting stations.
No shit.
Wow.
Protests of the war or after the war, I guess? Because that was in the 70s. We're well past that. When was officially the war ended for Vietnam?
Oh, so was it 72?
Remembering Liberation Army. I'm just trying to think off the top of my head when it officially ended.
I think it was 72. Oh, shit. April 30th, 1975. When communist forces from North Vietnam captured Saigon, leading to the surrender of South Vietnam and the reunification of the country. Wow, why was I thinking 72?
Yeah, okay, so we were well in of them protesting the war efforts and doing those types of things. So just to kind of put in everybody's head, see where everybody was at. Just interesting things I'm finding.
Wow. Check this out.
What else do we got?
Cisco Lady Liberty says they robbed armored cars too, which I think you just said that they did.
The Brinks armored truck. And then because they killed the guards and some people got prosecuted and shit like that. I can't remember any of the people that were involved in any of these stories because they're all prominent politicians right now. If you go look at where these people are at now, they're going to be in your local governments and government institutions. You're like, they're there now? Yeah.
That's funny.
And one of them got pardoned from Obama, if I remember right.
Oh, and you're spot on, and it's funny because I was just about to read this comment from Chi-Chi in charge. Says, all out of the University of Chicago. Bill Ayers, Bernadine Doran, and they teach there now. Yep. My God.
See?
We've seen it all, guys. I mean, people that try to kidnap children from, Haiti. What was the last thing you would ever want to do? Put them in charge of what? Children, right? So great idea. Let's bring Laura Silsby back to the United States. We'll put her in charge of, the Amber Alert system after she changes her name.
That's right, dude.
That's a great idea. Like, hello. People not seeing, the issue with this stuff here? That's very odd.
Another click over here is Western District of Washington wanted to appoint their own district attorney over there, and they brought out this radical left-wing replacement, and he got fired, and Trump appointed another one. So this is the official announcement. Roger Rajoff has been fired by the president, and they're going to appoint another one as they keep going on a lot of these things. So that was that. We're getting closer to the end of the potpourri stuff, but this is Holly and Blanche. We get the very first part of this thing here.
That was a rhetorical question, but I'm glad the answer is yes. I want to start with Jack Smith and the latest revelations of his illegalities, which seemed to have no end. I mean, listen, I've had my text messages, did have my text messages by him scooped up, read, who knows what he did with them. I've had my cell phone monitored. He tracked my incoming calls, my outgoing calls. He tracked my metadata. He tracked my location. I mean, Lord knows what else. The part that really offends me, though, is that he didn't just do it to me and members of Congress. He did it to ordinary Americans. I've had Missourians come to me and say, I had FBI agents show up at my door, knock on my door and say, were you in Washington, D.C. in January of 2021? These are people who did nothing wrong. They weren't even here. They come to me and they said, what is going on? What am I going to do? I can't afford an attorney. What really gets me at the end of the day is he lies about it. I mean, he has lied and lied about it. And I want to just make good that claim. Here is a record. I'm going to read it to you. A record of Jack Smith's responses under oath now to members of Congress. He is asked, question, as it relates to members and their staffs and senators, it's just the toll records as far as you remember. Smith, that is my recollection. Question, did the records that you requested include the content of text messages? Smith, answer, no. Now, maybe there's some nuance I'm missing here, but it sounds a lot to me like this guy didn't tell the truth. Have you thought about investigating this guy for perjury?
We take testimony in front of this body very seriously. Yes.
Good. Well, I think he absolutely should be investigated. I think he absolutely should be prosecuted, if at all possible. And based on his responses under oath, I think he should be. And I think it's time that we say that these people who did this, who engaged in this mass illegality, blatant violation of the separation of powers, blatant violation of the Constitution. We know what they did to President Trump. We know what they did to everyday innocent Americans. And that's before we even touch the issue of trying to recruit spies into Catholic parishes, sending members of the anti-terrorism division to go hound parents who went to school board meetings. It's unlike anything we've ever seen in American history. And my view is there needs to be accountability for it. I hope that you will investigate Jack Smith for perjury, and I hope that possibly you'll prosecute him.
Yes, Senator.
Definitely going to take a look at that guy. Let's see if Blanche can hold off on there, because obviously confirmation hearings are now ongoing. If he could hold on to the particular spot, I'd be really happy. But we got Corden to deal with, and just thinking, because we don't know about Mitch or Lindsey, since Lindsey's changed hands and it's got the daughter in there. I still think he's going to vote whatever direction this analyst was talking about. But Cornyn being the holdout, it's going to get interesting. So we'll see what happens in next week and see if anything changes on the lay of the land on who they're going to pick and who's going to get actually nominated, and see if he can hold out for it. But he's been doing a pretty good job so far. It's been a month and a half?
Yeah, it's definitely
a lot more than whatever Bondi did, right? So shout out Blanche and loyalists since the beginning, Boss's lawyer. Good stuff.
Yeah, that's if you think whether Bondi was a good person or a bad person or did the Scaramucci model, kind of like Dan Bongino. I haven't totally decided on that yet.
Central casting. And Hulk, so just so I don't have to continue to type this, I see a lot of people in the chat were talking about the Black Panthers. They were talking about, because we were talking about the Weather Underground. So just really quickly, the mentor to the Black Panthers, Donald Warden, a.k.a. Khalid Abdullah Tariq al-Mansour, also known as the guy who called up Percy Sutton, who happens to be the ex-attorney of Malcolm X, and asked him to do a favor. I mean, dude, you literally can't make this stuff up. Asked him to do a favor, and could he make a phone call to Harvard to get this young, highly qualified individual named Barack Obama into Harvard. Now, Percy Sutton was in his 90s, and they asked Donald Warden about this, Tariq al-Mansour. Oh, I don't want to speak bad about him. He's an elderly man, and they denied the whole thing before Obama got elected. But after he got elected, they were broadcasting it like a talking point. Oh, come see Tariq al-Mansour make a speech. He's the advisor to the man, the one of the richest men in the world, which happens to be Dopey bin Talal, and it was integral to getting Obama into Harvard. Use it as a talking point so he could sell his things there. So we have the Black Panthers, you got Obama, you got Malcolm X, and all of these people. I mean, it's wild. And then
there's another piece of the Weather Underground I thought was interesting. The names are put in. Susan Rosenberg was associated with the Weather Underground. She set off the bomb in the White House. She was convicted and Clinton pardoned her.
Yep, Rosenberg.
Oh God, Susan Rosenberg. There's so many names I forget. We've been looking at all this shit. It's hard to keep track of it all.
Bathhouse Barry. I'm reading the chat there. Tiger Tur says.
All right, we'll keep going through the rest of the stories here. Here's another interesting thing here. Removing illegal immigrants, truck drivers from U.S. roads. They're also going to put forth the U.S. military. If you were in any trucking in the U.S. military, you'll be going to the front of the list, is what he's basically pointing out. They're also, Department of Homeland Security and Department of Transportation announced that they have identified 75 entry-level CDL truck driving schools across the United States suspected of fraudulently helping non-citizens to obtain commercial driver's license. So they're going back over those. That's on top of the 11,000 inside the California. They want everybody to retake their license because English proficiency test and those types of things seems to be an issue over there. So I don't know if they're illegal immigrants over there, but that is definitely going down as they catch more of these rogue truck drivers, because they're still out there, still earning a living. But they're going after the schools now. Finally.
As they should. That's just so dangerous. I mean, you see the people falling out of the things drunk. You can't speak a language. You can't read the signs.
Exactly. And that was also Mark Wayne Mullen went around President Trump's back and suspended ICE traffic stops. And then POTUS came back out and made a big announcement, says they will continue. So, yeah, swamp still survives, guys. I don't know how this came out. I'm waiting for an update. Maybe it came from a lower line staffer. I'm not sure where to put it. But raids are continuing. They're over in Maine just recently, having some issues over there. A little bit of a standoff, but I didn't hear anybody's deaths or anything like that. And then we also got a decline in the consumer price index, came down 0.4%, and the inflation eased to 3.5. I don't know, Tron, did you see any difference in the market? Because I just see the stock market go from red to green, like it's some sort of disco thing. So I don't know where to put it.
No, it's definitely all over the place. Even crypto, gold. It's and Boss isn't lying. Like, you know, the market does reach several highs because, like you said, it's all over. It's top, bottom. But again, we're thinking long term. So gasoline, beef prices, a handful of other ideas. We're just gonna have to wait a little bit more. But Kevin Warsh is on top of it. So
who's that?
That is the Federal
Fed
Reserve Chairman. Yeah, Warsh.
Oh, did I get his comment? No, I didn't grab it. I didn't grab his comment. We'll save that one for Saturday. He said some interesting thing here. Yeah, what if Fetterman always says something good?
As a Democrat, I am angry at people like Bernie Sanders that pushed that accused rapist. Why did so many people on the left embrace that accused rapist? What was the appeal? Was it no record in public service? Was it the record of the Nazi ink? Was it the crazy things he said online? What was the appeal? Roughing up his ex-girlfriends? And now it was finally pushed to the brink where, you know, he was credibly accused of raping that woman. So why did you push these people? Why did you buy in and then plunge that most consequential Senate race now into chaos and makes it more difficult to retain the majority status here?
When the New York Times and Wall Street Journal reported those initial rounds of allegations, not the rape allegations, but the others of chauvinistic, potentially abusive
where
behavior.
Are they apologizing? Did Van Hollen apologize to the victim? I don't know. I didn't see it. Yeah, and same with Bernie. They made it more about, well, I talked to P. Hustle and I think he should drop out. He doesn't talk and mention, you know, the women that he brutalized for that. I thought we were Democrats. You know, these things count. Things should matter.
Believe her.
So for me, that's really, where's the accountability? And
there is no accountability. It's their team, right?
And I
pushed. Here, stop talking. I just wanted to throw that out there. They're having the issue with the DSA, the Democrat Socialists of America. If you weren't paying attention to the New York race that was down there with those three DSA members, they were ousting a lot of the incumbents that have been hanging out for a while. seems to have a problem counting votes down there, Space Shot. Are you surprised that they're having a problem counting votes down there? They can't really confirm who had what and what not. So they haven't officially certified any of these races yet, even though they announced the winners. So the local, whatever it's going to be, the New York Election Commission, blah, 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 and a judge has done playing the games with these guys, and the judge themselves are ordering the votes to be taken to the courthouse, and he's going to count them himself. Yes, the judge is going to count the votes himself because he doesn't trust anybody what they're telling him right now, and has ordered the 3 candidates and all the votes to, I think it's next Monday. So there's a date coming up here very shortly. So I thought that was very interesting.
Where is this one
happening? This is the New York where the 3 Democratic Socialists of America won in New York, kicking out whatever. I can't remember the one congressman that had been in New York for a while. He had been in there like 3 or 4 seats. A Poindexter looking guy. I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but he got kicked out, and then 2 others. So now they're asking questions on this, and the judge is going to want a record of that.
Goldman. The Nike.
Yeah, Goldman. He's the one
Nike
that lost.
Levi Air. That's good.
Oh, yeah. So Democrat Socialists unveiled their new platform ahead of 2026 midterms. Mr. Space Shot, you take some of those?
Why, certainly. It's even crazier than just a few weeks ago. We're going to get rid of for-profit companies. No one will have many bills because there won't be for-profit companies. You can always take days off work because you don't have many bills because they want to end for-profit companies. Abolish ICE. End ICE detentions. End all deportations. Hey, while we're at it, let's get rid of the Senate. While we're at it, let's get rid of Supreme Court. Let's put more taxes on billionaires. Let's expand the Congress that they'll control. So they want to keep Congress, but get rid of Senate and Supreme Court. Okay, but make Congress bigger. I gotcha. New justice system that they'll control. Who would have thought? They say Bernie Sanders is the only popular senator because he's a socialist. These people are communists. They want to destroy and bring down America. If they gain momentum, it's over. People need to understand how dangerous this movement is and take it very, very seriously. And it is.
Yeah, so just be prepared when these crazy blue-haired people come out of the woodworks. We're going to have to deal with these people for another 10, 15 years easily, guys. What do they look like? They look like that.
Where's all the colored hair? Well, maybe they toned it down a little bit.
Right there. You got some there. Hijab over there. They're probably most of them live in their mom's basement.
How many masks? Oh, God.
How many masks? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Is this a
6,
current
7,
picture?
8, 9. Yes.
Come on, dude. It's still wearing. Who the hell is wearing a mask in 2026? You need, do not stop. Do not collect $200. Go right to the friggin' loony bin. If you don't have any medical situations and you're wearing a mask.
There's maybe 10 people not wearing masks. Yeah.
Freaking retards. I'm sorry.
You guys hear about the Trump coin?
Yes.
Supposedly supposed to be coming out. Obviously. What's up?
That is so. Go ahead. I'm sorry. That's just awesome.
So it's not an official tender or anything like that, but they can release it itself. And guess what? There will be a special edition 3-inch version of this particular coin.
Really?
Yes, a full 3-inch version gold coin that you could buy. So I thought that was interesting. You can't buy any of these yet, but that's the proposed stuff that they're coming out with. Oh, yeah. Yeah. What'd they say here?
What are we looking at here? These look exquisite.
Yeah, so these are the displays of our currency over the years. Some of it, we used to have silver certificates. We used to be backed by silver, sometimes gold. And then in the 70s, we just went to what was called fiat currency, where you didn't have to keep gold or silver in the vault. If any of these are still outstanding, though, the silver or gold for them is at Fort Knox, waiting for them to be claimed if so needed.
Have you visited Fort Knox?
I haven't. People on my staff has. We're going to the treasurer's office. The treasurer has been to Fort Knox, and I am happy to say all gold is present and accounted for. The U.S. has the largest pile of gold in the world, over $1 trillion at current market value.
And we're getting more gold from Venezuela.
So yeah, here, read this, Mr. Space Shot, right there.
Why, certainly. I have $2 trillion in gold. It's in my basement. No, I swear.
So he hasn't seen it. The people on the team had seen it. And we got $1 trillion in gold in Fort Knox. He's guaranteeing it.
Hell yeah. He said the other treasurer had been there, had visited.
It sounds like a used car salesman. That's all I'm saying, folks out there. Philly Q, thank you for the 1 subscription out there to the Hulkinator channel. Thank you. Appreciate that. But I just wanted to throw this out there that he hasn't seen it, but the other dude confirmed it.
Yes, sir. And Hulk,
anybody trust these?
I'm going to thank Mr. Dave News Treason for the raid, and then I'm going to go do a Rumble wallet presently. And then I'll raid you later, and maybe you can do one. So thank you for that there, sure. Mr. News Treason Dave. I will see you tomorrow, but I'll mute you guys so you don't hear me.
Belush.
There we go. All right, guys. I got them muted out, and I got to put them on my hip here. Let's see if this one actually works.
No, I had it.
He's over here talking. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we hear a lot about crypto, but here's the part most people miss. Crypto was designed so you could actually own and control your own money. And after the 2008 financial crisis, Bitcoin was designed as an alternative to banks. So instead of a bank holding your money, delaying transfers, or limiting access, you're the one in control. And if you ever had to wait for a transfer to clear, you felt that problem too. Now fast forward to today. Everybody's heard of crypto, but getting started still feels complicated. It's exactly why I use Rumble Wallet. It takes all that complexity and it makes it simple. Choose what you want: Bitcoin, dollar-backed stable coins, or even digital gold backed by real gold. No complicated setup. It connects with MoonPay, so you can use your credit card, debit card, or bank and be up and running in minutes. Once you're set up, you can even support your favorite Rumble creators like me directly. So do this now. Scan the QR code and click the link in the description box and download Rumble Wallet. From there, you can set up your wallet, tap buy, and you're in the game. And in just a few minutes, you can go from hearing about crypto to actually owning some. Boom. All right, back into the game here, sirs and ladies and gentlemen.
So they're still going after these guys. And again, when I keep saying they're going after the top tier people that are producing the most fraud, this would be one of those representations. So if you thought you were going to go back to Somalia for, hiding a couple $100 million worth of stuff, no, they went to Somalia and picked your ass up and brought you back. So interesting shit that is happening out there as we move forward with this corruption. So none of this stuff is slowing down, and I see it accelerating on the severity of some of these charges we're seeing. Hopefully they get around to California.
We're actually seeing charges in blue states. So this is giving us hope. I mean, at least for you and me and maybe even Space Shot and a handful, even Belush in Minnesota. Mike Lindell, remember Mike Lindell, Dominion voting case was dropped. And now we have that kind of happening. So there are still opportunities for us out there as the rest of the world or the rest of the country, especially in Florida. I'm so jealous of the Floridians out there. Someday.
What, the weather?
Well, everything. It's just flight or fight. I mean, do we stay in these? How have you stayed? You have a family, obviously, right? That's why you're in California, or else you would have bounced a long time ago.
Yeah, the wife wants to go, but got to hang out. Yeah, though my dad's in his late 70s, so he's not going to be hanging out too much longer. And stepmom's not around. He's got a new girlfriend, but got to hang out for him a little bit because my sister had to move up north for a job. So technically, I'm the only kid that's left in Southern California to hang out with. So I have him over every couple of weeks to cook him dinner and shit.
Awesome.
But it's going good. But California is absolutely crazy with the taxes and the amount of corruption. Now, this comes back to what's going to happen with Steve Hilton if he's going to win the election coming up in California for governor. I mean, we saw Trump talk about the issues that were happening in the election coming from the speech he had earlier. And I really hope Bill, it's, it's certified on the 10th, dude. So time to tick. So we'll give him 30 days and see what happens. We got to get it done before they start doing this August primary crap.
It's coming, like you said. It's still ramping up, and it's not going away anytime soon. And we keep seeing worse and worse and worse. I'm wondering when they're going to start exposing Obama and the fact that he's not, really from our country. Because I don't think all that stuff was done many years ago to not kind of go through with it. I mean, we all know by now that the birth certificate was completely fake.
Well, and Boss brought that up prior to 2016, the first one against HRC, the WikiLeaks, all that fun stuff. And remember when they finally released the document and a PDF, it was on layers. If you brought it into Photoshop, you can literally turn off the layers. They didn't flatten the document. It was very,
old version of Photoshop, where it's all separated. That's in there. Ran by this story as this goes off. Tron, you want to read that for everybody?
Guys, Babylon Bee, explosive diarrhea, and this is not Chuck Schumer, epidemic traced to gain-of-function lab at Taco Bell Institute. Oof.
So evidently they've chased it down to a supplier of Taco Bell. And evidently I started digging into, I can't remember the name of this particular virus, but it's pretty resilient, and evidently you don't get infected with it when you're carrying it. It basically has to come out of your body, hang out around the ground for a week or two, and then it starts infecting things and commercial washers and using chlorine and it doesn't wipe any of that stuff off. That's why Taco Bell decided to basically burn their entire run that has to do anything with greens. So onions, lettuce, tomato, all that stuff, they threw it right in the trash and started over. So here at this point, they've basically chased it down to Taco Bell and a supplier that's basically getting other people sick. So that is a story that is going out there. Since you had mentioned it.
A complete investigation that's independent. Now on Iran and the NDAA. When all the Trump administration.
You see him chuckle there at the end. He knew what he was doing, just like Fartwell.
Dude, that's like I've said even as a kid that it's like nature's laughing gas. It's like it makes you laugh sometimes. And then he absolutely did a chuckle. He's like, Trump. Oh, whoops.
And let's be honest, it doesn't matter what side of the aisle you're on. Passing gas is hilarious. It's funny. It breaks the tension. At least he's somewhat human. He's not a reptilian. Well,
Dude,
maybe. Well, we're not going to go there.
Somebody drop this. What? I don't know who this is. Talk about Pepe. Who is Jose Pepe Fanjul, the sugar guy?
Like a musical thing?
Born in 1944 in Havana, Cuba, is a prominent Cuban-American businessman and one of the key figures in blah blah family's vast sugar empire. The family's deep roots into the sugar production, baking, going back to 1850 in Cuba. So he is talking about a particular person. So it wasn't Pepe the thing. It just happens to be a coincidence.
Cuba. And that's, wait, whoa. He lives in Palm. Oh, that's Boss? What is that? Oh, okay. Wait, Pepe is a major Republican donor and supporter of George, and he lives in Palm Beach. Look at that. He lives near Mar-a-Lago, this Pepe character who donated to George W. Bush and Marco Rubio and Donald Trump fundraisers. Okay, that's just nothing. Cuba, though. When's Cuba going to happen next?
Very soon.
We have to liberate them.
Probably has to clean up one of the other two first, either Ukraine or get done with Iran or put Iran back in the box. Because we're back on the 60-day clock. It has notified Congress before they're start going to get involved, because obviously we had the understanding of memorandum which stopped any war act, and since we're back at war, he's notified Congress, and then that 60-day deal starts again before they want to start getting in there and do presidential war act kind of crap through Congress. So just as an FYI.
Hell yeah.
Huh.
Pepe.
Interesting things.
Dude, he's always
Thank you for the $2 Rumble rant. Appreciate that. That was the Taco Bell one. Who's the devil's lettuce now, right?
And that Taco Bell lettuce is not even normal lettuce. Like, it doesn't like get soggy. It always has a crunch to it. I don't know what they do to it, but now we have an idea.
I haven't been to Taco Bell in years. I'm just saying.
No.
Maybe it's safer to eat the cats and dogs, I think.
One thing I did like was the bread on the chalupa. That's it, though. Not the beef or the chicken. Just the bread.
Anybody cared what it looks like if they bag in lettuce? That's pretty much what it looks like.
Oh, dude.
Oh, no. They're spraying all kinds of...
Hopefully,
Oh,
it's
I
water.
like a nice Caesar salad once in a while, dude, with some chicken in there. Oh, it's so good. Not anymore. Romaine,
I
baby,
should go.
romaine.
Well, Hulk, what people were talking about in the chat earlier, as funny enough, is looking at food. Like somebody mentioned, look at ramen under like a magnifying glass, and I was like, listen, any food you guys like, don't ever look up a video of whatever food you like under a magnifying glass. Like,
Dude,
just don't do it.
take
Or
a magnet.
food being made, right?
Take a magnet inside of your Life cereal box,
Oh,
and
no.
yeah, you're gonna. There's like metal in there, dude. Like, yeah.
Like
It's iron. It's in there because
Yeah,
it's part of your
iron,
daily
iron,
diet.
really.
It's iron. Just as a quick point out here, I didn't know this, but remember, the USGS contacted Disney during World War II to produce a film telling the Mexicans not to poop on the crops. That was 80 years ago.
They still poop on crops. You tell the Indians.
It isn't only in water that we find these little killers. No. With our microscope, we can find microbes almost anywhere. Suppose we take a look around your farm. What's this? You have no latrine? You use the cornfield? Well, remember we said there were microbes in the soil?
Yeah, so they had to do an educational deal with the the Disney video. I was like, oh my God, people are crazy.
Poop is bad for your food, guys. Oh my word. And they do. Maybe we can send that out to India as well, you think? Or
No.
No, they're too far gone.
Explosive diarrhea, those types of things. Oh yeah. Let's read this for everybody. Even Todd Blanche made reference to this.
Yeah, CCP alert. A former senior advisor to the Federal Reserve Board of Governors was sentenced to 38 months in federal prison for making false statements to investigators about sharing restricted Federal Reserve information with Chinese intelligence operatives. Sounds like a good idea, right? Federal jury deliberated for 2 days, really, before convicting Rogers of making false statements to investigators from the Office of the Inspector General for the Federal Reserve Board of Governors and the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. In addition to the 38-month prison sentence, U.S. District Judge Dabney Friedrich ordered Rogers to serve 12 months of supervised release. Federal prosecutors had sought a 60-month prison term. He lives in Vienna, Virginia. He's a U.S. citizen and holds a Ph.D. in economics and dorkery. You see that picture again? Is that an official picture too? maybe wear more than a sweatshirt in his official picture. My guess would be dork. You muted, Hulk? This is
Mugshot.
huge.
Yeah, I was muted. Yeah, we're going to throw this back out again. Trump Technologies with their cold fusion system. And again, they bought the company that Ashton Forbes calls the gold standard. Whoever buys this company knows what they actually have, and they're going to release the free energy technology, what he has been talking about. Devin Nunes, here you go.
This is breakthrough technology. When this is done, and I don't say this lightly, this will be the most important discovery and invention since the first Manhattan Project. So we did a lot of searching, John, all over the United States. We looked at a lot of the emerging nuclear power companies, and there's nothing that stands that holds a candle to this company. So look, we want to be right in the middle of the most important issue at the highest level. What does America really need? When we started True Social, we needed free speech. We saved that. Now somebody's got to step up and do something to produce real energy in this country, and we're going to do it.
Didn't he give an interview with him? I thought he was on with Devin Nunes. Maybe I'm wrong.
This is a distinctive and unique evil.
I'm just taking a quick look. Everybody stop talking.
Technology.
I know. I find that interesting. Let's see if they give us the technology that he is talking about and then bring it forth with.
Think about it. Just maybe a week ago, DJT out of nowhere drops a picture of John G. Trump. And then he also drops another picture of MIT John G. Trump as a child. And remember, this was the conversations that he had back in the day about nuclear suitcases. going off, and you can't even tell, the technology and whatnot. And never forget, John G. Trump received and reviewed the Nikola Tesla files from the FBI back in the day, maybe the first connection with 3-letter agencies in the Trump name. So here we are in 2026, and now Boss takes a social media company, I say that in quotes, and then he throws in Fusion TAE. I mean, this was completely out of left field, never expected. It was supposed to be a media company, movies, streaming, all that kind of fun stuff, True Social, and then they throw in this on top of the fact that he purchased the property Bedminster from John Z. DeLorean, the inventor of the DeLorean time machine from Back to the Future. And now this, man. So again, fusion, fission, I just love it. Dude, this timeline's fantastic. And whether it's quote unquote free energy or not, it's definitely a breakaway from our traditional oil, which is, again, monopoly, guys, monopoly, bloodlines. This is going to be big, and we need this. Is good. Yeah, Rockefeller, man.
Rockefeller, yo.
Should I throw out what they're changing on X here, or should I save that for Saturday? You want to learn a little bit about X?
Sure. Maybe while that plays, you can look at my internet.
Here, yeah, read that for everybody. I'll go take a quick look.
Yeah, I keep getting roboting from both of you, so I'm assuming that's me.
I heard it from him too. I heard it from
you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nikita Bear here. He says some updates on the creator revenue sharing program. These are always funny to me. 1, soliciting engagements. Quote, parentheses, I'll follow everyone who replies. 3 or more times will result in removal from the program, and your account will be forwarded to the policy team for suspensione. Grok now catches all of these. Nearly 4,000 accounts were removed from the program today. 2, our new model now detects duplicated content at 3 times the rate of the previous model. Adding watermarks, intros, and other edits will send monetized impressions to the original uploader. This also includes copying viral text posts, most common one, quote, Twitter is like the smoking section of the internet. We detected 1.5 million posts that were stolen this cycle. Repeated or intentional circumvention will lead to removal from the program. With these changes, over $1 million will be given back to the original content creators. And dude, how many times have we talked about this stuff? The idea that somebody takes like a President Trump interview and copies 45 seconds of it, and right there on the screen, one of the biggest guys that does it right there on the bottom, slaps his label on it, and now it's his video, and now he gets the money for it, and basically now he's going to be not getting money for it, and the original uploader should only get money for that. You add something to it. I mean, all you got to do is add some commentary to it, right? Like, oh, hey, President Trump's about to talk about this. You play it, and then when he's done, you say something else. You transform it. You don't just copy a video and upload it and try to get money for it. It's just bullshit.
And it says here, an exception, if you solicited engagement on Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday to celebrate the algorithm change, we excluded those, so you do not need to delete them. A lot of people did that unintentionally. They also did this too. Some of the biggest purchases come from testimonials I've read on X. Authentic conversations is what makes X the most trusted source of information. Today, we're releasing Mention Boost, a brand new ad product on X. If your brand or account is organically mentioned on X, you can boost the reach. And we've designated in a way that's transparent to users and preserves the authenticity of the timeline. So basically, if you get a mention on there, mention boost, it's something automatic. You could boost it even more if you're a paid subscriber to X. They're doing that.
Very cool.
And then you read that for everybody.
Okie dokie. Tron, I'm sending you a message here as well, just to see here. Elon says anyone using Grok to make illegal content will suffer the same consequences as if they uploaded illegal content. Excuse me. Okay, so that's
so it's SpaceXI is taking zero tolerance approach to illegal abuse of Grok. 52,000 accounts suspended in 2026. 73,000 reported submitted to NCMEC, making child stuff.
Dude, like
bad. And 144 arrests have been made.
And that was probably not even like the perp. Like Grok is here as a tool, and now all of a sudden you're seeing this honeypot action kind of work out. That's wow. That's great.
And last one right here for this. It says, from Elon Musk, once we've completed a review of security vulnerabilities, we will make the entire code base of X open source with no exceptions. Moreover, we will invite third-party reviewers to examine the system that is running to confirm that the open source code is what we are running. Trust through total transparency is the only thing that should be believed. So, yeah, we'll see. I don't know if you've seen much of the algorithm change today, but it left me in the ghost town.
It's good. Oh, really? Mine was great. Like I'm seeing all my favorites and everything.
Nice.
Oh, no, I'm just talking. I did a couple of posts and nobody showed up. Very little.
Oh.
I got 15 over here. I did the Q thing. I got 6 on this. I thought this was good, but nobody loves me.
Wow, I got 2,000 views on a post of old Julian Assange thing. So that's weird.
And it shows Blue Eyes rated the channel. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Anything else we need to throw out, cover, mention before we wrap up the shindig with these great, fine people here?
I mean, dude, we literally could go on for hours. Literally. There's just so much out there to.
It's almost like there's too much, though, right? Like we're being inundated because we've been waiting for this moment and we're definitely ready. But now it's like we have to wait for everyone else around us to kind of catch up. And it's like, come on, hurry! The clock is ticking.
Yeah.
But I'm loving these revelations. I'm loving how again, after America's 250, after 2-year anniversary, and here we are on the anniversary of JFK Jr. 1999 HRC Senate seat. Much different atmosphere now than it was 5 years ago, 10, 20. A lot to look forward to.
Definitely interesting. And midterms are going to be interesting to see what Harvey Dillon talked with the Civil Rights Division, because you got to remember they just picked up a whole bunch of 100 plus new civil attorneys for the election integrity group out there, and they're sending them out to the key swing states that they're doing these midterms at. And they told them that if we find illegal voters at substantial issues in the voting rolls themselves, and you did not do anything meaningful to take these people off of those rolls, we are going to charge you federally for allowing these people to vote. Thank you for Let Their Rest Begin for gifting the 5 subscriptions to the Hulkinator channel. Thank you very much. Go ahead, guys.
Hell yeah. Oh no, dude, that's a really good way to go about it, right? Because hey, you have the bad names on your voter rolls, and you chose not to get rid of it, so now they'll be in hot water. I just learned too. One of my neighbors is I think it said head, but I think she's like one of the main clerks for the city of Providence. Basically the city of Providence. So she does Tina Peters. I'm like, you have no idea how much power you hold. Pretty interesting. So I'll be interested to see how that stuff plays out. But my state is, of course, heavily liberal, but that's what they should be doing. Put the people that are there, because what are you there for, right? Those people that she could charge if they don't do the right thing. Well, what's your job is to do the right thing, is to not have all these extra names that are not supposed to be on there. But historically, they've letting it slide and looking the other way in a hope to get, obviously, their candidates in there.
So long as they show meaningful effort is what the word is, and that's going to be kind of guesstimate on what they're going to charge these people with if they do find that it's over excessive. But I mean, a lot of the Democrats, the talking points is if this goes through, then obviously we're not going to win elections anymore. And these are the regular Democrats, not the socialist Democrats that we're dealing with now. The regular ones that have been stuck in the middle are saying this, that we're going to lose our chance to hold on to our elected offices if A, the DSA continues on this mission, and B, if they do voter rolls and then start cleaning them up in voter ID. We won't win for a long time. It'd take them right off the market for probably 4 cycles, 5 cycles before they come back around again.
Absolutely.
It's a long time.
Abso-freaking-lutely. Yeah, we got the We got the let's just say we got the wind at our sails right now, and I feel like we're coming into a storm for them, and I think the reveal is going to be even much worse than his speech. I mean, obviously we saw it and we know what it is, and idiots on the other side are all poo-pooing it. I just don't understand how like the average Democrat doesn't go, wait, why are they? Yeah, it's the president. Well, like, why wouldn't they play his speech today? That's weird. Like, nobody.
He lies
like,
all the
thinks that.
time.
Yeah, I
He
mean,
lies all the time.
Yeah, that's what they think, but it's just like, well, wait, 3 major, news organizations don't want to cover the president's speech, which, for them will get probably better views than all of their shows combined for the day. So, yeah, it's very weird. But it's, again, everybody's against him, and I just don't see how some people can not see it. It's pretty wild to me. So, yeah.
Exactly. Should we do some thank yous or what?
Yeah, let's do some thank yous, but let me start really quick just by saying is we
Go ahead,
got
sir.
probably an extra 500 or 600 folks in here. There was more thanks to Dave and Mark, Parallel 8 and News Treason's raid. So we are here every Thursday at 9:30 p.m. Eastern normally, and we've been doing this show since early 2018. And so if you enjoyed what you guys saw, please join us next Thursday and the Thursday after and the Thursday after there. I think I have one more thank you on Rumble, and then the floor is yours, guys. Mr. Randall Crow, thank you, sir, for the $5 super chat. And so this was right after the President Trump was done, I'm pretty sure. He says, quote, "Now we can all share our version of what the F just occurred and what is coming next." Yes, absolutely. I can't wait. And we got to kind of sift through some of these things. And some of those, if you guys were with us earlier, a couple of the files we couldn't even open. And that wasn't just Hulk. It was myself as well. And I don't think Tron could open them either. Something about the name of the file. But thank you guys and gals out here. News Treason, Parallel 8 Media, thank you for the raid. And then Randall Crow, Twisted Clown for the 2 super chats. And then D Starboy for the 5 gifted subs earlier. And I am all set, accounted for. And Hulk, did you want me to raid you? And then maybe you could do a...
Yeah, go do that. And then I'll do gold pills right now.
All right, so
over there in that side for you guys.
All right, so folks on my chat, I'm going to mute in a second so nobody will hear anything. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go over, I'm going to raid you guys over to Hulk show, and we're going to end the show on his side. So I'll be with him over there even though my show is ending. Okay, thank you. Bye-bye.
Appreciate it. Q shook me all night long. Gifted the can. Good evening.
All righty. I'm going to put him off to the side because he's going to be distracted in my ear, so... Basically, just so Hulk can do himself a little commercial here at the very end and get some of that creator revenue. Because Hulk does put a lot of work into these shows, guys. Sets up all the shows on Thursdays. So I would appreciate if you guys would graciously go over there. And I'm going to end the show on my side. And we'll all do the Table of Titans outro together on Mr. Hulk's side of things. So I do appreciate each and every one of you wonderful world patriots for tuning in. But before I do say that, I'm going to thank one more time my complete list of mods: Cap 78 Pack, Chris Schaus, Diane DeVoe Williams, Debbie Roush, GGB Working It, James Rohrback, Patriot Chick, P Dancer, Susie Q, Tasmaniac, Tanette Booth, and Wheezy Girl. I do appreciate your help for myself and all these guys over the years. Really do appreciate that. And all of you girls and guys out there for tuning in. So until that next one, thumbs up, like, and subscribe. And remember, we're going over to Hulk's side, so don't leave. All right? Peace. Do it like this here.